Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. It's Feel Good Friday. Let's talk some NFL and MLB. Opening day was yesterday. My Dodgers, obviously for me and my dad, they put up the big L with Clayton Kershaw. We'll see what they do moving forward. And I saw this little tagline, potential Bengals offense if they add Kyle Pitts instead of going Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle stud from my Oregon Ducks. So we can talk NFL, we can talk MLB. You know, your boy's grinding, working hard. It's Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL, let's talk MLB, let's talk anything sport related as we're going into the weekend. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash the fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF or the GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. New hoodies for 2021. $34.99. NWSF represent if you can from the East Coast to the West Coast. It'd be greatly appreciated. I finally got my taxes done today, and I'm not too thrilled. Obviously, having to pay on the federal and pay on the state. I got until next month to be able to get that done, but obviously hitting that kind of depression mode and then, being not in a good mental headspace or mind space for, 2-3 weeks. And then at least I got them done, but, obviously having to pay through like TurboTax, you're dropping like $100, $110. Then I got to pay, a few $100s on each side, which I currently don't have right now either. So I'm going to have to find a way to hustle and grind, and hopefully I have enough money, in the timeline. I know you can get an extension on some of that, but we'll see where it goes. But it is Friday. We're getting closer to the weekend. I'm here in Oregon. As I look outside the window, the sun is shining. Everything looks great. And like I said, I hope everyone is having a great day. Calvin Griffin in the building. What to do? Cash Out Hybrid Godzilla versus Kong was fire. I haven't seen it yet, but that and Mortal Kombat look very interesting. I might try to, get a chance to watch that. I'm not sure if theaters are open here in Oregon, but if they are, I definitely want to go and check that out. Calvin Griffin. Pitts is a generational talent. I'm sorry, but you don't pass on that. Number one player in this draft, even over Trevor. I agree. I actually do like Kyle Pitts the best out of any player. I mean, I think Penei Sewell could be the next Quentin Nelson of the tackle position. I think that he is worthy of a top 5 pick from the Bengals also. But there's not very many guys that I really trust. There's not very many guys that I really believe in. I mean, out of all the talent, I mean, the main top 5 that I believe in. And there's going to be different rankings. These are not in any order, but just based off kind of draft, projections and speculation. But I believe in Trevor Lawrence being kind of like a Joe Burrow and being a good football player. I believe in Zach Wilson being kind of like a Justin Herbert and having a higher ceiling and being a good football player. I believe in Penei Sewell being the best offensive lineman in this draft, and he can make a big difference, moving forward for any team, but especially the Bengals if they decide to go that route. And I believe in Jamar Chase for his athleticism and his obviously route running and his hands, just his big body. I think that he can end up being like a Justin Jefferson. But last but not least, Kyle Pitts might be my favorite player in this draft, and I totally agree with you. Sometimes I'm going to agree, with the Fanatic family. Sometimes I will not agree, and we're going to have all our own opinions and how we feel. But I feel based off his wingspan, based off his size, based off his speed being that tall, based on really all the factors. And if you watched him at the University of Florida, go Gators. If you ended up watching what he did there, a lot of times they're going to have players on defense that are making a splash and making kind of a name for themselves in the last few years. Every once in a while, we'll get some guys on the offensive side, but this is the probably most excitement that I've seen from the NFL circles, from the NFL fans, probably from the NFL owners, based on a player that could be like a Tony Gonzalez, based off impact, be like a Travis Kelce, be like a George Kittle, possibly be better than Darren Waller from the Raiders and be better than Mark Andrews. Like, this guy could be top 5 tight end year one. He could end up maybe putting up stats like top 3, like right up there with George Kittle if he stays healthy for the full season, as well as Travis Kelce. I don't think it's that crazy to think. It all depends on who's throwing him the football. But as we look at my thumbnail, Joe Burrow. I mean, they need offensive line help. And as we've seen with the Chiefs, if you don't have protection up front, that's going to make it difficult. But, I mean, they need to get the offensive line addressed at some point, right? Defense needs a whole remake, a rehaul. They need to be revamped. They need to blow that up or add some pieces. They need to figure it out on the defensive side because it's just horrible. It's atrocious, right? But if you look at Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Kyle Pitts, right? He could be the franchise tight end for many, many years to come. Avoid the Boyd, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. John Ross is no longer there. A.J. Green's no longer there, but, they don't really need those guys. Those guys are injury prone. A.J. Green's kind of past his prime at this point. Maybe he can be a comeback story, and we can get comeback player of the year type of story from him at some point, but I doubt it. And obviously John Ross, he was the speedster who ran the 40, from the University of Washington, but he's never really been able to live up to the expectations of like a Djax and a long threat. But I absolutely agree. I love Kyle Pitts, and I think he might end up being the best player overall in this draft as well. But I hope everyone is having a good day. He said Jamar Chase is better than Devontae Smith, but also Devontae Smith, he's a good player. He's a little undersized, but I think depending on what team you go to, quarterback-wise, we're going to see where it goes. But I think Jamar Chase has just got more natural, raw ability. So, again, it's all about upside and kind of having that freakish Madden ability where you can, do all these things on the football field that maybe other guys can't. It's one thing to be able to be like a pocket guy, like a Joe Burrow and a Trevor Lawrence. But as you can see with guys like maybe Justin Herbert or Zach Wilson, maybe being a little bit more athletic, being able to get out of the pocket and make, more moves, maybe being a Jamar Chase and being able to be a little bit more athletic out there on the football field and doing things a little bit better and possibly than Devontae Smith. But like I said, you don't win the Heisman for nothing. But if Jamar Chase was playing the whole season, maybe the numbers would have been a little bit closer. But obviously we saw with LSU, without Joe Burrow, the team was not very good, this past season. So Jamar Chase probably would have got some love. But a lot of times with Heisman, it's all, how's your team doing? Are you the leader? Or, what are you looking at yards and touchdowns? So I'm kind of excited to be able to see where it goes because we were getting kind of these comparisons with like Jerry Jeudy, right? We were getting comparisons, him with Marvin Harrison. Then you had guys, obviously, like Justin Jefferson. We thought that he could be a possible talent as well. But I appreciate everyone. The MLB that I ended up doing yesterday was a good success. Like I said, I ended up getting a decent amount of numbers with the Dodgers live stream, and we did the Yankees one. I did Yankees Blue Jays, just to try to start it off. And I believe if I keep up with it, there's going to be more and more fans that will be able to pop into the room as well and hang out with your boy, whether you love baseball, hate baseball. But if I can get some people that come in like Calvin Griffin and his Astros, we can get some people in there, Braves, Dodgers, Red Sox, Yankees, Cubbies, with all the different teams there. And I can gain a new following and maybe get some more subs and obviously just grow the Fanatic family as long as I have the time in the window. This is always going to be an NFL, college football channel number one, but I'm still going to do the wrestling, the WrestleMania thing. We'll do some MLB, and I just wanted to add a little cherry on top with the grind with everything that I'm doing. But I saw this thumbnail on Twitter, and I thought it would be very interesting to talk about because, right now we're kind of at a point where we're going to be talking a lot about the same thing every single day, the Zach Wilsons, the Trevor Lawrences. But this was something that was kind of brought up yesterday as well as this morning, the opportunity for Kyle Pitts to possibly go to the Bengals. They do need an offensive lineman, though. So, I wouldn't hate on them for going Kyle Pitts whatsoever because this is a generational type of tight end, maybe even more than generational talent than a Zach Wilson or a Trevor Lawrence. We're talking about, if you had an opportunity, if you're Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, and you could add a Travis Kelce or you could add a George Kittle, to the roster. That sounds pretty nice. Obviously you need to get an O-line, and they can go O-lineman in the following rounds, maybe not as good as a Penei Sewell, who could be a generational tackle and one of the best tackles that we've seen in a long time, possibly a Hall of Fame tackle if he can stay healthy like an Anthony Munoz back when they had the Bengals, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. Calvin Griffin says if he goes to Atlanta, they still ain't going to win shit. I agree. That would be the scariest receiving offense in NFL history. Julio, Ridley, and Pitts with a Matt Ryan. An offensive line, they have a lot of issues and needs. They need corner, they need defense, and they need a whole rehaul as well. But I agree, and also being with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Saints and the Panthers, it would be really interesting to see. And at some point, Julio's going to be gone. At some point, Matt Ryan's going to be gone. But seeing Julio, Ridley, and Pitts out there, that would definitely be very scary. Defenses would definitely have to game plan not only around Julio Jones, but around some of these other guys as well. And having Pitts out there, that would be insane. And we've seen Calvin Ridley, what he's done. He definitely had one of the breakout seasons like I was predicting last year, and he really made a good name for himself, and I think he's a very solid number two. Steven Gutierrez in the building. Your thoughts on what the New York Giants could be this upcoming season? Great question. I think they have a lot of potential, to be very honest. They've made a lot of moves on the defensive side of the ball, which they needed to do. If you get a healthy Saquon Barkley back, that's just going to make Danny Dimes, his job a little bit, a little bit easier on Daniel Jones. The thing is just all about the receiving core. We know they got names, right? But we got to be able to have a good offensive line. But I think they're trending in the right direction. I mean, obviously, right now, what we've seen with the Washington football team. I see what they have on offense, defense, special teams, running game. They ended up adding nice pieces. To Scary Terry McLaurin. So I'm kind of wondering to see what happens there, but I think the Giants are going to definitely be in contention for the division. The Dallas Cowboys, if Dak comes back, they got Zeke, they got the weapons out there, they got the Michael Gallup, the Mari Coopers, the CD Lamb should pop off, but I don't really believe in the defense. I know you got Dan Quinn to come out of there. He was a D coordinator for Seattle, head dude, there in Atlanta, even though he couldn't get it done. So he'll be able to make that defense a little bit better in the Big D in Dallas. We damn boys, but I don't know if I really believe in Dallas. And then obviously with the Eagles, they need a big revamp as well. Can they draft the right players? You're going to be going Jalen Hurts. A lot of their vets are getting older, like Fletcher Cox. It sounds like Zach Ertz is on the way out. Alshon Jeffrey's on the way out. You got a very talented Dallas Goedert, and you got Miles. You got Miles, and you got Sanders, and you got pieces. Right, you got pieces there, but as far as a full package, I'm not sure what we're going to get out of the Eagles. So I think there definitely is an opportunity, at this point. The Washington football team's probably got to be at the top, as far as on paper, to possibly repeat. Dallas and the Eagles are just kind of waiting in the wings. We got to really see what they do in this draft. I don't believe in Dallas's defense. The Eagles need a lot of help on the offense and the defense. And then they have, obviously, with the coaching regime and everything that's going to be going there. And then with the Giants, I think they're kind of primed in a good position where they could finish second or possibly first, in the NFC East. I mean, you got to think about it. If we're adding an extra game, it's not going to be 10-6 anymore. So if you go 10-7, 9-8. Who knows if that's going to be enough to end up winning the division. But as we've seen, in years past, you can have kind of a shitty year overall win-loss record-wise and still get in. But I do think the Giants have improved on defense. I like what I've seen. I like the head coach. I like everything that they're doing there in the organization. But really, what's going to be the key to the success is if Saquon Barkley can stay healthy for a full season. Because if he stays healthy for the full season, I think they can definitely compete with the Washington football team for the top of the NFC East. We'll see what the Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles are going to be doing at this point. But, I don't think it's crazy to think that you could end up putting Washington, the Giants, maybe Eagles, Cowboys, or Eagles and Cowboys kind of tied, waiting to see what they're going to do. But I kind of like I even mentioned last season, if Saquon didn't get hurt, that was one of my kind of sleeper teams that I thought that could make the playoffs or make a little bit of a run. But then once Saquon went down, we knew that was going to be pretty much a pipe dream. But I do like the Giants, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs next year, either winning the division or getting a wild card. They're trending in the right direction. I think that they have been hitting on a lot of the pieces lately. I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to end up doing in this draft as well. But they are addressing the needs. Offensive line is decently stout with some of the names that they've been building over the last few years. But you can always add more depth on the offensive line and keep adding to the defense. And we know what you got at wide receiver. We know what you got at running back. Is Danny Dimes the long-term answer? I'm not too sure, but we're going to wait and see, and we're going to find out here in the next couple years. But like I said, if he doesn't have to force it, like Baker Mayfield, kind of in the same situation, the less you have to force the football, the better your O-line is, and the better the running game is. It's going to be easier to make the natural decisions and progressions, first read, second read, third read, as you're going through your progression. So if you are a Giants fan, I'd be excited. I'd be excited that you have a chance legitimately to win the NFC East and get in. And if you don't win it, you could definitely get in with maybe a wild card spot in the NFC East. It's up for grabs, absolutely, and I believe that. Good question there by Steven Gutierrez, Giants fan. Cash Out says, to be honest, Zach Wilson is more of a gifted quarterback than Trevor. I mean, Trevor's gifted. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I'm not a hater. If you look at the tape, you don't win a natty for no reason. I mean, we've seen this guy throw up, 2, 3, 4. He could put up 500 yards in college, 4, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns. There's not a lot of guys that could do that, okay? But, there's a few kind of, little things that alarm me a little bit. Like I said, he's got the height, he's got the moxie, he's got the skill set, he's got good footwork, he's got good arm, but I think Zach Wilson's arm is better. I think Zach Wilson is more accurate. He's got a better deep ball. The accuracy on the deep ball is going to be better. And he just seems like he's just more of a gifted athlete out of the pocket. Bootleg, running play action. And you're going to have to run bootleg. You're going to have to run play action, either to the right or the left. Both of them are right-handed quarterbacks. So they're going to be bootlegging to the right more than likely most of the time. But I think both are going to be good, but again, my comparison is Trevor Lawrence is Joe Burrow, which is nothing to shake a stick at. More of a pocket guy, guys that can get it done, guys that are going to splash and show some talent, right? But they are going to make mistakes, right? And the offensive lines aren't very good for the Bengals as well as the Jags. But as years go on, if they get better offensive linemen to protect, then Burrow and Trevor Lawrence's numbers will get better. But then on the flip side with Justin Herbert and obviously Zach Wilson, I think they're more athletic, and you're going to be able to see Zach Wilson under pressure is going to make better decisions downfield and get rid of the football a little bit easier. And I think Zach Wilson's natural talent, to me, even though he went to BYU, doesn't matter. I mean, Justin Herbert went to Oregon. People were talking shit thinking that, Tua was going to be so much better and Burrow was going to be so much better. And it showed you, I think the one thing that really stood out on paper is that when Justin Herbert had pressure and he went deep, against the Buccaneers, the Saints, and a lot of these teams that had pretty good defenses. I mean, he was hitting receivers on a dime. And so that was really never the problem for Herbert. And when he was at Oregon, when I watched him in the front row in Eugene, and, I got to see how he would work the offense. I mean, this is a kid that ran shotgun pretty much his whole career. So to go under center was something new. Definitely not as vocal as a leader, that maybe some of the scouts wanted him to be, but he's learning. The leadership is there, and he's grown the trust, obviously moving forward. And some of those throws, I mean, I don't think I've seen throws under pressure, for long 40, 50-yard touchdown bombs, besides maybe like Patrick Mahomes when he first came in. But besides the accuracy, I mean, we know Josh Allen has got a strong arm, arguably the strongest, out of any quarterback besides Patrick Mahomes. But under pressure, I mean, I think the top two quarterbacks under pressure that I saw last season, no doubt, were Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and he's a rookie. And the offensive line wasn't good, right? The head coach was trash. The defense was banged up. Derwin James didn't even fucking play. I mean, you had Keenan Allen, a top 5 wide receiver in this league. If you want to say top 10, that's fine. But he always seems like he puts up top 5, top 6, top 7 numbers. He's just kind of undersized and doesn't get a whole lot of love. Kind of sometimes like Mike Evans and some of these other guys. But I absolutely love Keenan Allen. I've always loved him. I think he's a fighter. He's an underdog. He kind of reminds me of like Steve Smith Jr. He's one of those guys that's feisty, but he has maybe more natural talent overall, and he's arguably the best route runner in football too. We've seen Devontae Adams and how he can run routes also right off the line with that little skip that he does. But if you look at year in and year out, I don't think that Keenan Allen has been any less than number 1 or number 2 in route running, and it shows. His hands are great, route running is great, he's a touchdown machine, so that definitely helps Justin Herbert. But I'm very excited to kind of see moving forward where it's going to go. I think Trevor Lawrence and Burrow will definitely pan out, but I think the ceiling is much, much higher for Justin Herbert and for Zach Wilson. But again, the Jets are going to be rebuilding and retooling, and don't be surprised if a lot of trades happen. I wouldn't be shocked if Dangerous ends up leaving Seattle. I wouldn't be shocked if Deshaun Watson, with all these allegations with these women, with the massage places, if they end up considering a trade either this year or next year for both of those QBs, because with Dangerous, it sounds like him and Sierra want to go to a bigger market. So it's not going to matter what you do with signing Tyler, get to the door and lock it, for an extension. That's not going to matter. If he's sold on wanting to go to New York or Chicago or just a bigger city to market their brand and Team 3 and everything that he's doing with Dangerous, staying this year or next year, I mean, at some point, if he wants to leave, he's going to want to leave because Seattle's not going to get any bigger. We're out here in the Northwest. Seattle is not L.A. It is beautiful there, and I love traveling to Seattle. It's my favorite place to go, obviously road tripping, to go eat out there at Brothers and Sisters, chicken, the Nashville chicken spot, which is one of the best spots here on the West Coast, to go get the Nashville hot chicken. I go there. I'll drive 3 hours to go get chicken just at that spot. It's that good. They got the bacon mac and cheese from scratch. I mean, me and my buddies will go up to Seattle, watch Mariner games, Seahawk games based on who they're playing, and I'll travel that far. I love it out there. But As far as Russell Wilson and what he wants to accomplish, I mean, he might go to a crappier team like the Bears, but if he's in Chicago, I mean, if that's what they want to do, if that's what he cares about, he won his Super Bowl already with Seattle. He's already been to a couple, won one, lost one. Maybe, getting the most out of Russell Wilson at this point, being able to get something. Because, I mean, think about it. If they ended up doing a trade and Russell Wilson ended up going, let's say, to the Jets and Zach Wilson came to Seattle, yeah, you're still going to have to address the O-line because you want Zach Wilson not to get fucking killed out there. But he's got the athleticism, maybe, I'm not going to say exactly like Russell Wilson because obviously we know Danger Russ can scramble out of the pocket, but, that would be a good spot, a good kind of swap, you know what I mean? But obviously the Jets would have to give up a lot of capital, and they already turned down the Bears' insane offer, with all these first-rounders, second-rounders, third-rounders for Danger Russ. But, I mean, I think Zach Wilson in Seattle, I mean, he could succeed there, and then that gives you a brand-new fresh face if Danger Russ wants to go somewhere else. I'm not sure if the Jets would be the ideal destination, but if he wants to go to New York and get his name out there, get his face out there, I mean, if Danger Russ went to the Jets, that would really be exciting because then we would actually, I mean, just the idea of Zach Wilson going there and with, Saleh gets me excited. But if you got Danger Russ to go there, I mean, we're talking the Bills, we're talking New England, and then Danger Russ on the Jets. It would give you a little bit of intrigue. You're like, okay, let me fucking watch the Jets now. Let's see how good Danger Russ really is. And with the weapons they're bringing in, they got Corey Davis there, Jamison Crowder. They still need to address more pieces on the O-line, the running back position, and the defense. But he could probably get them in a year or two, depending on who else they bring in. They could probably get to like 9 or 10 wins. I don't think it would be that impossible to think if they draft well in a couple years and they address some of the positions that they have. But the thing is to give away all their capital to get Danger Russ, then obviously you're probably not winning a whole lot of games. You'd probably be like 500 or a little bit under 500 because you had to give up a lot to get them. But the idea and the thought is definitely interesting. Let's see here. I can't stand LSU, Bama got the best receiving coaches in college. These motherfuckers coming out at A1 route runners. There's a lot of great players. I know, well, you're a Bama guy, so you don't like LSU. You don't like anybody but Alabama. You're a Houston Astro guy. Obviously you're a Saints guy. You got your favorites on who you like. But definitely, route running for Alabama, we know what it is. And I'm kind of wondering, what the next Julio Jones prospect. I mean, that's just kind of a freakish athlete. But I think Jerry Jeudy, if he ended up having a better quarterback, we would have saw better numbers out of him. I mean, there was a lot of guys that came out, at wide receiver, but didn't really excel like Justin Jefferson, just for the simple fact. It's not that Justin Jefferson necessarily is so much better than those other wide receiver rookies that came out. He had Kirk Cousins. He just had the best quarterback at that point. So I think that guys like CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy with Dak and Drew Lock and maybe someone better than Drew Lock in the future will really excel those numbers from those other guys to catch up to the Justin Jefferson numbers. Dan Quinn is Kiffin 2.0. Giants should win the division this year. I'm thinking, Calvin Griffin, I'm telling you. I mean, I know you're a Saints fan. I'm a Bucks fan. But the Giants on paper, based on what they did with their coaching staff and what they have, if Saquon stays healthy, they could definitely win the division this year. I definitely agree with that. What do the Bears do with their first pick? Probably trade up. And get a QB because I don't think Andy Dalton is someone that you really are sold on. But the thing is if you trade up, let's say they go Mac Jones at 3 with the Niners. So that leaves you with either Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. With that Bears team, with the offensive line not that great, you know what I mean? They don't have a whole lot of weapons at running back and wide receiver, Allen Robinson, but I mean, what else? You know what I mean? The defense, has got some pieces, but it just seems like the coaching, they're just kind of like a clusterfuck of pieces. They need a lot to be able to get it going. So I guess if you want to go for a Justin Fields or Trey Lance and trade up, I mean, that could be something, but you're never going to be able to get the most out of those guys. If you think Nagy is the right guy, I'm not sure if he is. You know what I mean? So if you don't build the O-line, those guys are going to suck. Dalton's not going to do anything. Just like Mitchell Trubisky and these guys. I mean, you need a couple Allen Robinsons. You need a better tight ends. You need a way better O-line. Had Kyle Long, and then he said, fuck this, retired. Now he's on the Chiefs. So, I mean, the offensive line needs a new rehaul and a rebuild. So I'm not sure if they're going to go that route, but they need a lot of pieces. They need a lot of fucking pieces out there. So I'm not sure what they're going to do, but if they do trade up for a QB, I wouldn't be shocked. Especially if Mac Jones goes 3 and Justin Fields, might be falling into the Panthers' lap. And if someone likes Trey Lance, you might be able to give up some picks, which they have, which they tried to offer for, Danger Russ, and they said, fuck you, no. So I would take that as a consideration. But like I said, in the Bears offense, I don't think Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones would succeed, to be honest. You're going to get fucked over. But like I said, it all depends in the following years if you address the O-line and get some more weapons rather than just Allen Robinson. You can't just have one guy and just assume with a shit O-line that you're going to be able to put up big numbers and go to the playoffs. Because at this point, when you look at the Lions and the Bears, they're at the bottom. And you got the Vikings and probably the Packers at the very top. And obviously the Vikings took a hit with a lot of their defensive players, moving forward. Everson Griffin, Xavier Rhodes closed. I mean, you still got some weapons on the offensive side, but it shows you there was quite a bit of a drop-off. You got Dalvin Cook, you got Kirk Cousins, you got Justin Jefferson and Thielen. Now, Kyle, the Red Zone Rudolph, obviously we know he's moving on. But they need more on the defensive side to try to catch up to the Packers, and we'll see what the Bears and Lions do, but I have them kind of at the bottom of the NFC North, and I think everyone else does too. Nervous that Penei Sewell is dropping back. I still think people and the Bengals should get Kyle Pitts. I'd be happy with Jamar Chase as well. Yeah, never forgetful in the building. What to do. I feel right now you can go any route. You need offensive line. That's a no doubt. So if Penei Sewell drops back, hello, Los Angeles Chargers. Pair him up with someone he's familiar with Justin Herbert. So you can go that route, So if you think about the Chargers and the Bengals and a lot of teams, if they need O-line, they need maybe a tight end or a wide receiver. The Bengals and the Chargers are kind of probably in the same boat. Hunter Henry is no longer there either. So filling that need with Kyle Pitts, with the Chargers, if he's available at that slot, fantastic, right? Or a Jamar Chase, to pair up with a Keenan Allen. If you feel that Jamar Chase is the better threat, to have a guy on each side, Keenan Allen on one side, Jamar Chase on the other, that would be great too. For obviously Justin Herbert, he'd be drooling, if he had Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts. But since Hunter Henry is gone, that definitely would be intriguing, especially if he slides a little bit, because he could be the best player in the draft, Kyle Pitts. But the Bengals need an offensive lineman. The Chargers need an offensive lineman. And let's not think that like Penei Sewell's not going to be that good. I've watched this kid in the front row. I've seen what he can do. I mean, this guy is a generational Hall of Fame kind of talent, like what Quentin Nelson is to the guard position. This guy, and it's not just because I'm an Oregon fan and I'm biased. I've seen him. I told y'all how good that Herbert was going to be. I knew he was going to be better than Marcus Mariota. You know what I mean? This Penei Sewell could be like literally the best offensive lineman prospect that Oregon has ever had. Ever. Ever. And then going into the pros, I believe into him 1,000%. Herbert could be the best Oregon quarterback we've ever had. We've had Dan Fouts and a few others, but, in the last few years, we've been really pumping out the talent. And then we got Kayvon Thibodeau, coming out, even though we've had DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead. I think Kayvon Thibodeau could be the next Von Miller. So after this season, if he has a good year, he could be a top 10 pick, maybe have a top 5 pick, maybe even in the top 3, depending on how he plays. But he's a monster as well, and that's big facts. So, let's not worry about that, with Penei Sewell. He's going to be able to find a home, and if he doesn't go to the Bengals and falls to the Chargers' lap, they're going to have a big decision to make, depending on who goes where. If Pitts goes, there, as you see on the screen, that looks pretty sexy. But imagine Kyle Pitts and Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert. If they can get Derwin James healthy, shit, they could make the playoffs. I don't think, and like I said, I think Justin Herbert right now is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And don't be surprised if he keeps tearing it up that he'll be in the same range as being top 5, top 6. Because some of the older guys are getting, a little bit aged, a little bit, kind of walking out the door where, we know like Drew Brees, decided to call it quits. Big Ben's going to be out the door soon. Brady will be possibly out the door soon. So there's going to be guys that'll be out the door like Phillip Rivers was. But the new breed of these new guys coming in, I like what Justin Herbert's able to accomplish. And if he ends up getting a good head coach, a good OC, good weapons besides Keenan Allen, a better O-line, a defense that actually can fucking stay healthy. Obviously Melvin Ingram and Casey Hayward are right now on the block. So I don't know where they're going to land. And so the defense sounds like it's not going to be as good. But bottom line, Herbert did all that with horrible coaching. Right, so imagine if you end up getting a great OC or head coach, kind of like a Kyle Shanahan or a Sean McVay. The possibilities are limitless for a guy like Justin Herbert. So I see big things happening with the Bengals, depending on what they do. Big things for the Chargers, but it's going to take time. It's not going to be just something overnight. Calvin Griffin, hope to say the Jets say fuck it and get Kyle Pitts, just so I don't have to worry about facing this dude twice a year. But if they decide to keep Sam Darnold and go Kyle Pitts, I mean, obviously that could definitely help, their franchise there. But then if that happens, that means that the Niners at that point would go Zach Wilson, and that's pretty much if everyone stays healthy with Bosa and Fred Warner, and they got Debo, Samuel, and Ayuk, I mean, they could win the division. Even with Matthew Stafford coming in, with the Rams, the Niners could be right there at the top with a Zach Wilson. That would put the best player in the best position out of all the quarterbacks if Zach Wilson ends up getting picked third overall. But I don't think that the Jets are going to, give away all these pieces, for nothing if they trade back. It sounds like they're going to keep that number 2 pick, but you never know. I mean, Sam Darnold is still there. Jimmy G is still on the roster, so we got to kind of wait to see what they decide to do there. But there's going to be a lot of trades and a lot of movement in the next few weeks before we get to the draft. And don't be surprised if there's some splashes in the NFL draft this year, especially when we could get quarterback in the first 4 picks if Atlanta trades the 4th pick and drops down. So someone like Denver, someone like the Bears, someone like the Panthers decide that, hey, Drew Lock's not the guy, Andy Dalton's not the guy, Teddy Two Gloves is not the guy. We need to trade up for one of these other guys, especially if Mac Jones goes 3. People are going to be salivating on Fields and Trey Lance, but I feel it has to be the right team, the right coach, the right supporting cast, and the right situation, and that's big facts. I say, man, look at what I wrote. I said LSU and Bama got the best receiving coach. Shrikar. Raja Dajaran in the building. What to do? So Pitts to Cincy has grown on me. I feel like every young QB needs to have a safety blanket tight end nowadays. Might be better to draft him than Chase. But the thing is if you think about it, I don't think they're thinking Chase at all because you already got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. So you're not going to go Jamar Chase. You're going to go probably Penei Sewell because they need offensive line. I mean, the motherfucker knee blew out and he was fucking KO'd, TKO. Mike Tyson TKO. Mike Tyson punch-out TKO because he didn't have an offensive line. So as we saw with the Cincinnati Bengals last season, and we look at that team and we look at who they're going to be playing, Ravens, decent D. Steelers, decent D, even though they lost Bud Dupree. And obviously the Browns, Myles Garrett, decent D. So you're going to have to be able to give Burrow time. Yeah, the names are great, but as we saw in the Super Bowl with Kansas City, with Mahomes and Travis Kelce, Tyreek the Freak Hill, Sammy Watkins, and all these weapons, if you can't give your quarterback time, even if he's great as Patrick Mahomes, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. You need to be able to have someone that can run block. You need to have someone that's going to be able to pass block, and you need some guys that are able to pull, if possible, from like the guard or tackle position. And sometimes those are far and few between. So we're going to have to kind of wait and see. Calvin Griffin hates Aaron Rodgers, hates the Packers as a Saints fan. He said Rodgers overrated ass will never win another chip. You know what? That's very possible. I mean, he's talented. He's Hall of Fame. But it's very possible that Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson will join Drew Brees and only have one under their belt for the rest of their career. That's very possible, especially the offensive line, being kind of depleted over the years, them not addressing the wide receiver position, obviously on top of, going for the Jordan Love, which was the wrong pick, obviously, as we know now moving forward. But, the Packers, sometimes they make great picks, as we know with like a Charles Woodson. Sometimes they make horrible picks like Jordan Love, especially when they've been in the NFC Championship game the last couple years, but that's not good enough to get over the hump. The defense needs to get better. Offensive line, needs to get better now since they've had some pieces get lost to injury and free agency. They got Aaron Jones. You got Devontae Adams. Rodgers can make people better, but they definitely aren't good enough, at least at this point, it sounds like, to win the Super Bowl. At least we haven't seen it. I mean, they can get there. They can win 11, 12, 13 games, but it seems like in the playoffs, you have a good defense that goes up against Aaron Rodgers, Niners, Tampa Bay, and they just can't find a way to overcome that. There's just too many weapons, on the defensive side coming at him. Obviously, a lot of people think that he is a top 5 quarterback right now, but Calvin Griffin obviously has his issues with Aaron Rodgers. I think I like Rodgers a little bit more than you because you hate him. I think he's solid, but that being said, it's very possible that he will never win another chip. Shrikar says, that being said, I think O-line has to be the number one priority. I agree. I mean, like I said, Penei Sewell, imagine if you can get the Quentin Nelson of the tackle position, right? And he could be top 3 offensive tackle immediately and maybe be the best offensive tackle in the NFL, right? You're passing on that for a Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is the sexier pick, especially when we've seen what he can do. Might be the best talented player overall in the draft. But I honestly feel that Penei Sewell is one of the top 3. So you got Kyle Pitts as one. Jamar Chase looks talented, right? Zach Wilson looks talented. Penei Sewell looks talented. And Trevor Lawrence, those are like kind of the main five. But if I had to put like the top four that I really love, I would take Trevor Lawrence out of that equation, and I would go Zach Wilson, right? Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, and Kyle Pitts. Like, these guys are the top dogs. But even as great, as some of these other guys are, Penei Sewell, I mean, if it wasn't so quarterback heavy and other teams needed tackle, I think that he could go number 2, number 3, number 4 overall. He's that talented. And like I said, I wouldn't be raving about a guy on the offensive line unless I truly believed it. And it's not just because I am an Oregon Duck fan. I mean, if I saw another guy on USC that was Penei Sewell was there, or Penei Sewell was on Alabama, or Penei Sewell was on, Penn State or Ohio State or wherever he was, I'd be raving about him the same way. Because imagine if you could have a Quentin Nelson on your team, would you take him? Of course you would. You know what I mean? This guy is going to be Hall of Fame already. He's given up like 3 sacks in 3 years. He can pull. He can pancake. I mean, literally, there's no one else to me on the Quentin Nelson level. He is hands down the best guard in football. And to me, he's the best offensive lineman overall in football. To me. I mean, there's great centers. There's great tackles, but if you look at all the positions, I think that he's the best one. And if you could end up getting a guy that could be a similar dominant talent at left tackle, who could also play right tackle if needed, he's very versatile. It's kind of hard to pass on that, and especially when Joe Burrow went down with the injury, the season-ending injury. Why was that? Because we knew how shit that O-line was. So for me, even though this Kyle Pitts potential Bengal offense looks sexy, that's not the right pick. I would go Penei Sewell. I think that, Penei Sewell's not going to be average. Penei Sewell's not going to be, so-so. If you're going to go at offensive tackle and they're talking about you in the top 5 picks, that means you're franchise. Anthony Munoz, Trent Williams, they think that you are going to be like the top dog, and I really believe in him too. Those are the main guys that I think. So got to be offensive line. And they're kind of blessed that they have someone like Penei Sewell that they can grab. It's not like one of these drafts where you're going to be looking at like a Eric Fisher and then he ends up being a complete bust, because I don't think that's going to happen, one bit. So that's kind of my feeling on it and my kind of take on it. But like I said, everyone's got their own opinions. People told me how shitty Justin Herbert was going to be and how much better Burrow and Tua were going to be. And obviously Oregon players, sometimes you can, have a kind of a basis based off past history. Like Ohio State quarterbacks don't pan out. But it's an individual concept. Maybe Justin Fields can be that guy. I don't believe in him fully long term, but we have to sometimes get over that history of repeating the same thing over and over and over. But also there's some truth to it, because we haven't really seen anyone at the Ohio State quarterback position. Even when you get a guy like Dwayne Haskins throwing up 50 fucking touchdowns, what is he doing in the NFL? Is he ever going to start in the NFL ever again? I don't think so. I mean, he's pretty much a bench guy to me now. I don't really believe in him at all. So, and I wouldn't even want him as my backup QB. And that's big facts. So, Pittsburgh Steelers, good luck to you, but I wouldn't have them on my team. Big facts. I wouldn't count out Atlanta taking a QB. I mean, you could, but the thing is if you trade back from 4 and you can get some extra compensation, maybe you could trade back, get an extra first-round or second-round pick, and you could still end up getting like a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance if Mac Jones goes 3. But Atlanta needs so much help at corner and at defense. They can't stop anybody. So there's going to be some more needs, at that point. I mean, I'm not sure if they're going to go Patrick Surtain the second, from Bama or someone else. There's going to be a lot of safeties and corners that are going to be looked at in the first 20 picks. How many are worthy of the top 20 pick? Not a lot. A couple of them. Mostly it's going to be pass rushers, quarterbacks that we're going to be seeing in the top 20 picks, but who knows? Sometimes somebody reaches. We always see a team or two reach for a second-round talent in the mid-first round, someone that they fall in love with, that they love. So we will have to kind of wait and see. Lance learning from Matt Ryan for a year would be perfect for them. Yeah, but also, too, if your defense blows, right, you could probably end up getting someone better, a better of a prospect than Trey Lance, the following year. There's going to be other guys that are going to be coming out that will be on the Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones level, in my opinion, in a couple years. So, I mean, I guess it all depends on what they want to do, but I know Matt Ryan is going to be heading out the door. Julio might be heading out the door, so it depends on, what they want to do short-term, long-term, if they want to go Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase at 4. I don't see Chase really going there because they already have Ridley and Julio, but if they think Julio's out the door and you bring in a Chase, or Kyle Pitts, that definitely will help soften the blow if Ryan leaves or if Julio leaves in the next couple years. You write about that. Can't stand Brady. Would rather see Brady win the next 50 Super Bowls than Rodgers win anymore. Yeah, well, obviously, you hate Rodgers, and you've made that very clear. Baker Mayfield being a bust every season. Hate him. He will never win league MVP. Well, he's not really a bust. I mean, you got to think, he's only a product of who's around him. When you had Hugh Jackson, if you got better coaching and a better play caller in Kevin Stefanski, who was the OC for the Vikings and made Stephon Diggs great, right? It doesn't matter if Odell Beckham, is out there or not, or Jarvis Landry and the weapons. It's all about if you have a good O-line, you got Jedrick Wills Jr. from Bama. They addressed the offensive line because it was horrible, right, in the Baker's first couple years, right? You ended up getting Jack Conklin from the Titans, so you addressed the O-line. Then you had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb as the best duo. The defense got a little bit better, right? And you had better coaching, a better belief, and they made the playoffs, and they almost beat the Chiefs when Mahomes went down with the injury. So, I mean, Baker's never going to be MVP. No one's ever said that. You know what I mean? He probably will never be as talented as Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, right? But that kind of quarterback, could get them to a Super Bowl. They could get to an AFC championship game, sooner than later. Yeah, they'd have to get past the Chiefs. Yeah, they would have to get past the Bills, right? But the thing is like he doesn't have to, really address himself in the way of forcing the football. If you have a good running game like that, of course his throwing motion and his completion percentage aren't the greatest. He's kind of an average QB. I wouldn't put Baker in top 10. He's kind of in the middle with like a Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo. He's kind of like that. So I guess as a number one pick, that could be a failure. But remember also, Rich Gannon made a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson on my Bucks made a Super Bowl. Trent made a Super Bowl with the Ravens. So I mean, you can be one of these guys that can kind of be like middle of the pack quarterback, even though that was a few years back. But if Baker, can learn and have more time on the offensive line, that'll hide some of his weaknesses. If he has more time, it's just a matter of, can he progress? Can he get better? Can he be better in play action and bootleg? Can he stand in the pocket? And like I said, I don't really see him really ever being a top 10 quarterback, but if you keep building the O-line and keep building the running game like they have with Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and they can stay healthy, it's going to make his life a lot easier, and at times he's going to look a lot better than he maybe really is. And then if the defense puts him in good position with turnovers, and they keep adding draft picks and free agents on the defensive side, instead of starting the ball on the 20 all the time, maybe starting at midfield once in a while with turnovers on the opposite side of the 50, if he can actually find a way to not force the football, because that's his issue, his accuracy and forcing the football. But he's got the energy and the passion. But like I said, he's not going to be everyone's favorite. Like I said, a lot of people are going to be rooting against him. He definitely has a swagger. He definitely has a certain kind of mindset about him. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns get to an AFC championship game in the next 5 years. But it's going to take a lot for him to be able to change, and get better. But like I said, I'm not sure if he can get better. He needs the pieces around him to get better. And then, like I said, they made the playoffs. And I was kind of glad to see the Browns and the Bucks finally kind of break the mold and get in, because we've been so bad for so many years. But, cash out. You're a Ravens fan, and you're a Lamar guy. So, of course, you're going to say that. You have no love, for someone that's a rival in the division. And that's, that's easily understood. And that's big facts. Let's see here. Penei Sewell legit, no arguing that, but Pitts is game-changing. Penei Sewell could be game-changing too, though. Because, I mean, if Joe Burrow goes down with another injury, I mean, Mixon's not getting the ball. Pitts ain't getting the ball. Boyd and Higgins aren't getting the ball. If you got to go with the backup to Joe Burrow, so, I mean, you got to give Burrow time. And if that's your long-term, piece, you got to protect him. You can't avoid that. You can have all these great pieces, but yeah, I agree. I know how great Kyle Pitts is going to be, but you got to be able to protect him up front too. Baker overhyped like Trevor, possibly. Brown should trade OBJ. OBJ's a distraction. Yeah, he definitely needs to get out of there. I don't think he's a top 10 wide receiver anymore. Like I said, he's got athletic ability, but it seems like more it's about marketing and YouTube and Instagram, dancing around, hanging out with his celebrity friends. I'm not sure if he really – I've seen him, train and try to get back in shape, and he's a gifted athlete, and it seems like when he's motivated, he's going to be able to do the things, but he almost has that Randy Moss kind of feel to me, where he's going to play when he wants to play. Like, remember when Randy Moss was on the Raiders? I mean, it's like he takes plays off, plays when he wants to, knows how gifted and great of an athlete he is, but doesn't bring it every single down, and that's the problem that a lot of people have is the work ethic and bringing it on every, like, if you know you're not getting the football, are you going to go up there and fucking pancake another DB? I don't see that ever from him. Are you going to go out of your way, run blocking? If you know that, like, someone like Chubb is coming your way, are you really going to put in 1,000%? I don't know. So send OBJ back to the Giants. Yeah, you could. I don't know if they would want him, though, at this point. Hope the Saints take Kadarius Toney and Brown back-to-back. Kadarius Toney looks nice. The Saints could definitely, have him. Elijah Moore from Ole Miss would be a great fit for you guys as well. I think he could make a name. But also, you got Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill throwing, not Drew Brees, unfortunately. So it might take them a little bit more time, and they might go heavy to Michael Thomas and heavy to AK-41. But I like a lot of those guys that you're mentioning. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are QBs that are really great with less, and Baker is not one of them. But you say that, but if you ended up putting Baker on Lamar's team and you put Baker, on the Bills, he would improve. Like I said, it's like those teams have better supporting cast. You got to think, there is a reason why Baker didn't succeed right away as well as Sam Darnold, because they didn't have fucking anything. They had bad coaching. They didn't have fucking O-lines. So, it's easy to say what you're saying, but if you would have put Lamar Jackson on the Jets, if you would have put Lamar Jackson on the Browns, it's not like he would have been the same Lamar Jackson that we've known. He's still going to be able to run around and make some plays, but if the offensive line, and you got to remember, you had a Hall of Fame offensive lineman in Marshall Yanda. That made things a lot better with the running game that you had with Mark Ingram and the weapons that you had. Gus Edwards, now you brought in J.K. Dobbins. So let's not get it twisted for a second. If Josh Allen would have went to the Jets, people aren't going to be raving and hip-hop hooray and fucking screaming and jumping up and down. Oh, Josh Allen is a god. He's so good. He didn't really have a good completion percentage. He was raw, you know what I mean, out of Wyoming. We knew he had the deep arm and a strong arm, but he didn't really get good until what happened? You got Stephon Diggs. When you had Diggs there, a true number one receiver, then the completion percentage went up because he actually had guys that could grab the ball. But Cole Beasley, had a pretty good year, moving forward. But it all depends on supporting cast, right? Offensive line, and obviously the coaching staff. Coaching staff is huge, in my opinion, as well. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. I'm not biased. I'm looking at talent, not just as a Buccaneer fan and fuck all the other teams, including the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons. I love all 32 teams, I know, which is rare. You don't really see that often, but I like to be able to evaluate the talent with not having really any bias whatsoever, just looking at the coaching, because you know me, I look at things differently than the average fan. Most people just look at the quarterback, running back, wide receivers, tight ends. They don't pay attention to the O-line at all. I'm more about the offensive line, the defense, the coaching, more than the offensive line, superstars. The more than the studs that play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. That's on the back of my mind. I'm really looking at how the game works. Some people are looking at it chess. I'm thinking checkers. I'm looking at it more of a strategy standpoint and looking at the talent and how they can get better. And like I said, everyone's different on what they like, but you're not going to meet too many people in your friend group or people on TV that say that they like defense first as well as offensive line over everything else in coaching. It's kind of rare, and that's kind of what makes me a little bit different and stand out. But I appreciate everyone's opinion and how they feel, but I'm excited to see. And the AFC North is going to be tough. You know what I mean? The Bengals are nowhere near getting to where they need to be, but if they do get Kyle Pitts or Penei Sewell, they're going to be going in the right direction because the Steelers lost Bud Dupree. I don't really believe in Big Ben anymore. Juju's a distraction. I'm not really, Chase Claypool was nice. I get it, but you have no James Conner. Now, if you get Najee Harris to go to the Steelers, that'll soften that blow, but I'm not really sure. You got Minka Fitzpatrick, you got TJ Watt, but I think the Steelers are kind of trending downwards. Now, depending on what the Ravens do in the draft, and if they can address the O-line, you know what I mean? And they still need to get their true number one. Yeah, you got Sammy Watkins, Hollywood Brown, and Mark Andrews, but you might be better than the Steelers, right? But I got to think at this point, the Browns might be kind of the team to beat in the AFC North, with obviously the Ravens, clipping at their heels, the Steelers, based off their reputation, if Big Ben can stay healthy for the full year, nipping at their heels. But, at least at this point, based on what I've seen with their offense, defense, and their head coaching, I think the Browns have got to be kind of the favored team. And then the Ravens and the Steelers are going to have to prove themselves after losing Marshall Yanda. The Steelers are going to have to prove themselves after losing Bud Dupree to the Titans, because once they lost him, they went from undefeated to trash like overnight. You know what I mean? And then the Bengals are at the bottom just because they don't have the proper coaching. Not that Zach Taylor's horrible, but they don't have the proper O-line. They don't have the proper defense to compete just yet. But it's going to be exciting to see what happens in the draft and what's going on. It's Feel Good Friday. Let's talk some NFL and some MLB. Calvin Griffin, I saw that your Astros, I believe, won against the Oakland A's last night, and then that was on ESPN. That was supposed to be, the Nationals and the Mets with Jacob deGrom and Scherzer, but then you got an opportunity to go out there and play on ESPN, I believe it was, right? So you won 8-1. Jesus, you mollywopped him out there, didn't you? Zach Greinke. Well, obviously, if you have Zach, right, 6 shutout innings, yeah, and then Brantley did good. Bregman homered in the 8th. Okay. Well, obviously losing George Springer doesn't look like it's a big loss at this point since he's on the Toronto Blue Jays now, even though he's hurt. But I remember Zach from the Dodgers, and he's great. I wish they never would have let him go. But that's good to see. Good start, obviously, compared to the Dodgers and for me and my dad getting that big L yesterday. But exciting time as we're moving forward. MLB is in full swing, right? We got a lot of potential things that are going to happen in the draft, so I'm excited about that. We're getting there about a month away. It's going to be at the end of the month. Fucking WrestleMania. WrestleMania is going to be, we got Easter this weekend, right? And we got WrestleMania the following weekend. Then I'm going to go to the beach the following weekend after that with the girlfriend. And then we got the draft at the end of the month. So a very busy month in April. Now, the only downside right now, I think for me, is that taxes. Fucking A, man. It's like did the taxes with the turbo tax. You have to pay like $110 or whatever, the federal and the state and all that bullshit. Then I'm not getting any money back. I have to pay for state and I have to pay for federal. It's like, $300 each or something like that. So I don't have the money to do that, so I'm still going to be grinding and working hard. And you got until like mid next month to be able to do that. So I'll be able to get that done. But most people are getting 500, 1,000, 2,000, all this, and not getting anything back and having to pay on both. I think is the first time that's ever happened, and having to pay on both. Over $200. Not a good look. Not a good look for you boys. So your boys going to keep working hard. I'm going to keep grinding. Obviously, any type of donations will go to paying the taxes, which will be fucking great. Just because, obviously, as we know, taxes is you got to pay $1,800. Woo. Well, a lot of times, depending on, with YouTube, if you get a 1099, form, depending on if you're doing like Uber Eats, sometimes taxes are taken out, sometimes not. So that was a big part of why I'm not getting anything back, which is a little unfortunate. But yeah, $1,800. But if you still have money from your stimmy, I'm not sure if you do. I don't. I wish I had some stimmy money that I could have used to pay the taxes and whatnot. But yeah, $1,800. I guess it just depends on how much you make and what you're doing. But yeah, paying money on taxes fucking blows, but it is what it is. I'm excited that MLB is in full swing, so I can grind on that. And I think that as more and more Dodger and MLB live streams I do, I think I'm going to get pretty good numbers. Obviously it's going to be slow with like the donations, but hopefully as I keep doing it, there'll be some donations, some new fans, some new conversations, new Fanatic family members, more subs, more views, just to add, to what it's going. But yeah, definitely. No kids, no dependents, and always having to pay. Yeah, I don't got no kids, no dependents, and yeah, just grinding. Usually I have 2 jobs, 3 jobs, YouTube and a job, or YouTube and 2 jobs, whatever it may be. So always got to grind. But man, I feel for you. I feel for you. But you got the Air Force Ones, customs. So I mean, you're always doing things and you're always busy. So that's good. You know what I mean? But yeah, $1,800. Shit, I would be fucked if I had to pay that much. But like I said, at some point, once I get more and more, donations and more subs and more views, I mean, I might end up getting to that point where I'm going to have to pay something like that. But if I'm at that kind of number and I got to pay $1,800, I probably have made pretty good money, and I'm probably sitting at a pretty good sub count, and I'm probably sitting, at a pretty good position at YouTube at that point, because eventually my goal is to be able to do YouTube full time once I can get a strong fan base, or, if I have to go viral or whatever it is. But if I can end up getting a strong fan base where I can get 30,000 subscribers or more, and then end up having, 100 people in the room at all times or more. I know at some point that'll happen, but I need YouTube to be able to promote and recommend my live streams and my videos. And obviously they are on a new demographic. They're on a new analytics and metrics. And they used to do it a lot in the first couple years, not so much in the last, 2, but that doesn't discourage me. It just makes me work harder, and hopefully I can get, broken out, to more YouTube, people out there, because I think I do have something to offer. There's a lot of people that will talk sports and talk NFL, but I think I bring and give you something that you're not going to get from YouTube. You're not going to get it, from TV. You're not going to get it in a podcast. You're not going to get it out there. I bring you something different, plus with the coverage with all the teams and the passion and the energy. But I really love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. Every single person that is in the chat, everyone that's subscribed, or even people that watch, because it seems like when I look at the analytics, there's a lot of people that watch me that don't subscribe. So hopefully I can, gain some people, that, supposedly, watch, and I can actually gain their sub, because I think it's like 65% of the people that end up watching, that come through, they're like newbies, or, or maybe they are on the cusp of subbing. But like I said, I'm excited to be able to do the NFL draft, and hopefully I can get some new subs then. And I know once we get into the NFL season, I will be able to gain a lot more subs. Hopefully, 500 to 1,000, is obviously kind of the low goal, but, I want to be able to get as many as possible, and that's big facts. Niners better not take Mac Jones, overrated ass. It kind of looks like it. Air Force One's custom J's got a comic book and a cartoon coming. Awesome. Let me know. Send that shit to me on Twitter or my email, any way that I can promote or help you out in any kind of way. I'm not sure if you have a website or anything that you're trying to do, but I love supporting my friends and family and Fanatic family members on the channel with any type of dreams or goals that they have. Tess in the building, what to do. It's definitely tough for independent content creators. I'm not signed by anybody. I'm not with Bleacher Report. I'm not with the, with Fox, or I'm not with CBS or ESPN yet, or any type of, affiliation. Now, I have had sponsorship, and I have had opportunities sent to me by phone call and email for me to be like an influencer, right? But, depending on what they want me to do and what they're going to try to pay me, some of it doesn't really make sense. Like obviously Collegiate Art Designs, the team that makes the O chain, the Oregon Ducks chain, and made my custom NWSF chain. I'm linked with them. So, that's a good thing where I can give away some, duck chains. I can give away some merch. They do custom chains, like I said, in custom memorabilia, mostly Oregon Ducks, but they can do other things as well. So I'm partnered with them. That's my very first one. But I got another guy that's in San Francisco that's got a thing kind of like the Pat McAfee show, where it's like a new app or website where they're going to be doing like online betting, but instead of through a casino like FanDuel, it's through like the people. So I'm going to have a meeting with them next week, and if I can promote and they can help me out, and I can get a little bit of incentive with maybe some more subs, maybe some more views, maybe a little bit more money, promoting their product. If it's something that I feel that is a good fit, then that will be number 2. And I've had like a fake jersey NFL guy from like China, but I didn't really want to do that, because if I'm going to promote anything, it's going to be NFL shop. I don't want you going and buying some fucking sewn jersey, Tom Brody, instead of Tom Brady. Can't have that, you know what I mean? Some of the fakes that they have like on eBay out there are decent. I mean, if you're wanting to pay, $100, $150, and you can get a screen print on NFL Shop for $100. But then if you want to pay $100 and get a sewn one that's fake, but you don't really care that it's fake if it looks decent, then you can go that route. But I just didn't want to do that. And there was a man cave company that wanted to kind of work to see if I would be an influencer, but I didn't really think that was a fit at this point. Even though man caves are cool, and you can customize it with your team merch and whatnot. So maybe I'll look into that, down the road. So I've had like 3, 4, 5, 6 different opportunities, but they just weren't a fit besides Collegiate Art Designs. But then with this other one, with this kind of, fan betting, with the new app and the new website that's coming up, Tom Brady, Bradee, TOMBRADEY, can't have that. Can't have that. So, but I know other opportunities will come. Maybe The Athletic, maybe Bleacher Report, maybe, Pat McAfee show. I don't know. All I know is that, certain people, that I didn't think that knew who I was, have watched the videos or have seen things on YouTube just with the 1,000+ videos that I put out there. I mean, John Cena follows me, which is mind-blowing. Jose Canseco follows me, Jose Bautista. So, I mean, sometimes you're going to get certain people that you thought would never know who you are. My buddy Brooks Beats, who does beats here, Busta Rhymes, reached out to him, and he's only doing beats like part-time. And I told him, bro, if Busta Rhymes is reaching out to you and DM, direct message, you need to start really focusing on, your passion instead of just, dirt bike riding and doing these other things. It's like, dude, if you have talent, like I told him, you need to go after it. And, it's not like if Busta Rhymes didn't think you had talent with your beat making, he never would have even messaged you to begin with. So don't take that for granted, you know what I mean? So if he had the work ethic like me, that could be someone that could break out, even a young Nola, as crazy as he is about the Saints. He doesn't have any support really from anybody famous or anything like that. And he's got one of his, raps on SoundCloud on one of his rap songs, a remix. It's got like 130K. Views. So even though he's crazy in the chat and he's all about the Saints, it's very hard to get 100,000 views or listens or plays on SoundCloud, Instagram, Facebook. I don't care who you are. If you get 100,000 in anything and you're like are not sponsored by anybody and you don't have anything, I mean that really shows that you have some talent. You know what I mean? It's not just clickbait. There's something there. So I could see Nola getting signed. At some point. He lives in the NO. He kind of has a Lil Wayne vibe, believe it or not. I mean, he's got a lot of talent and he's young. He's like 22, 23. So, I talk to him almost daily, even though, his mindset might not be there all the time, but I try to motivate him because anyone that has talent like that, you don't want to just quit. You got to be able to have friends and people that you respect, keep you going and keep you moving. So I always try to encourage him that, even though big things haven't happened yet, if that's in that song that he did, that remix, which is amazing, by the way, if you end up going to his SoundCloud, take a peek and take a listen. But once it goes from 130K plays to 200 to 500 to a million, maybe at that point, once it hits a million plays, which I know it will, because over time, more and more people are just clicking on it because it's at that 130K mark just to listen to it. It's the Wiggle It remix, and it's fire. The French Montana Wiggle It remix. So, I mean, if you have a chance, take a peek. And like I said, I always try to support him, and he supports me, on the Instagram, and it's just kind of nice. So anyone that's grinding, don't quit. You got to keep grinding and keep working. And a lot of times people get discouraged because they don't get the views. They don't get the subs. They don't get the recognition that they deserve. But you just got to be able to get past that not everyone is going to be an overnight success. And a lot of these guys on Instagram and Twitter and on TV and podcasts, they fizzle out. It's just like, you might be, hot for like a little bit, but you're not going to have that long-term success, but if you can work hard and keep grinding, those are the people that are going to be able to have the long-term success. Because I mean, for me, I wouldn't want to just get necessarily like noticed by some like professional athlete or rapper and then blow up for a year and then you never hear from me again. You know what I mean? I want to be able to do it the hard way. Of course, obviously getting the money and the recognition is everyone's dreams, but let's be realistic. Most people don't know Drake. Most people don't know a professional athlete. Most people don't have the connections, so, and a lot of these guys that you see, in social media and you see on TV and on your phone, right? It's because they have connections, their parents are rich or they know someone or, they're in the loop, they're connected, you know what I mean? And not everyone is connected. So, sometimes you got to work hard, and I've never been discouraged. If I end up doing a reaction video and it has like 100 views or less, based on even like the 20,000 subscribers, I don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? All I got to do is keep working hard, showing the talent, showing the range, showing that I am real, showing that I do have a vibe with the fans. And I think it shows, on the mic and on the screen. You can tell with people who are fake, who are real, and who's going to work hard, who's got talent, who's got the dedication and the passion. So if anyone's out there that's got something like that, go for it, man. Life is short. You got to be able to grind. And like I said, if you're willing to grind and never give up and have positive people around you, anything can happen. Feel Good Friday. Let's talk some NFL and some MLB. Live with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash the fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or the GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, NW Sports Fanatics. So I think the success of the Dodgers and the Yankees live stream was good. Starting off with the MLB live streams, play-by-play, and reactions. So I'm going to keep doing those this season. I'm really excited to do as many teams as possible to gain more knowledge in the MLB circles. But I'll be doing Dodger live streams as long as they're on here on my live TV here in Oregon. So I'm excited to do that for my dad. On top of that, we're getting closer to WrestleMania, which is going to be next weekend. So my boy Swaggy P was in Miami for the whole week. Went to go see the Blazers in Miami. Was a bucket list because we can't have fans here in Oregon for the Blazers. He ended up going to a Red Wings hockey, matchup, and that was on his bucket list because that's his favorite hockey team. Then he went to go see the Marlins play the Tampa Bay Rays, even though they lost 1-0 and only had 3 hits, but he got that on the bucket list. And then he's going to be back in a couple days, and we're going to end up doing WrestleMania live stream together based off this bullshit Peacock app and website. Sounds like I got to pay for it based on what Cash Out Hybrid was able to look out for me yesterday, $4.99 with ads or $9.99 without ads, so I don't want any fucking ads. And so he'll be in the building for me on Saturday and Sunday unless something comes up next weekend. So I'm really excited to do WrestleMania day 1 and day 2, so you're going to have my boy Swaggy P in the building. I'm excited about that. He's a big wrestling guy. I got another really good friend, Jay Graves. I worked with him, but he's too shy. I try to be like, bro, you know what I mean? You can hop on here with me, and his football knowledge and sport knowledge and wrestling knowledge is up there with Swaggy P, but, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get him on the mic. He's just too shy. And obviously with COVID, he's very worried with everything going on, so he doesn't really leave the house. I don't think I've really seen him in like 6 months, which is kind of sad because he's my road trip buddy. He's the guy that I go with the Mariner games. He's the guy that I go to the Seahawk games. He's the guy that that I'll go to the Nashville Hot Chicken with and drive 3 hours. He's that guy. We'll go to the hotel and we'll have a good time. He's the guy that that I'll road trip with and maybe take to the Ducks. So he's the main guy that I go with besides Swaggy P, Preston, when we go to like Blazer games or Mariners or Ducks. So I'm kind of excited to be able to see, or if we go to wrestling, those are the 2 guys I go to wrestling events with. I went to NXT TakeOver Portland front row with my boy Jay Graves, so at some point I would love to have him on the mic with me too, but I don't know, he might be too shy for that, but maybe I can convince him. But Swaggy P will be here for WrestleMania day 1 and day 2 next Saturday and Sunday, it sounds like, so I'm excited for that. And then at the end of the month, we got the NFL draft, and I might be able to get Swaggy P to come, obviously, to see what they're going to be doing with the Colts and see if he can come for day 1, if he has it in his schedule. If not, then I'll end up doing it solo, and then I'll try to do day 2, rounds 2 and 3. Probably not a live stream for rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday, but you never know. I mean, it depends on if I'm awake and what the girlfriend's up to. So if I have the ability to live stream all 3 days of the draft, I will. But more than likely, it'll be day 1 for sure, and hopefully I can do day 2 for rounds 2 and 3, because there's a lot of picks that people don't know of that I am pretty familiar with a lot of the names of the top 90 players in college football, just because of the depth and the reading. And there's also names that I don't know that I would like to know a little bit more. And once they do the coverage, it gives you the tape and gives you kind of the gauge. And once the draft is over, I can go back and do my research based on what I've read and what I've seen from these analysts on NFL Network. Probably won't watch it on ESPN because obviously it'll be on ESPN or NFL Network, but I typically like watching the draft on NFL Network with their analysts rather than the ESPN. I'm not really a big Mel Kiper, McShay guy. Don't really like those guys very much. And if you look at their mocks, they do it professionally, and it seems like they're fucking wrong. Like all the time. Like when Mike Mayock, before he went to the Raiders with John Gruden on NFL Network, I thought that his mocks were almost the most accurate. But I guess everyone, there's trades and there's unforeseen, things that happen. But never have been a McShay, Mel Kiper kind of guy. I definitely roll with the NFL Network a little bit more personally. So, I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's got their favorites, but we'll see. Niners traded up to number 3, correct. So it seems like we were thinking, Trey Lance, Justin Fields. But more and more people are going Mac Jones in the media. And it sounds like... and I don't know if it's smoke. Who wants the smoke? I want the smoke, all right? But it sounds like, I'm not sure if it's media smoke, but it sounds like from what people are saying, but who knows if they know the truth or not, but it sounds like Kyle Shanahan loves Mac Jones. And they traded away a lot of first-rounders, second-rounders. I mean, they gave up a lot of capital, and I can only see them giving up that kind of capital for a Zach Wilson kind of quarterback, not, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, or Mac Jones, because Mac Jones is like Jimmy G. But if Jimmy G can't stay healthy, then I can see maybe moving on. But if Mac Jones gets picked, Jimmy G is gone. If Justin Fields or Trey Lance gets picked, Jimmy G will be there at least for halfway through the season and then get traded to another team. But I don't know. But like I said, if anyone can make someone get the most of their quarterback or most of their players, it's Kyle Shanahan. I really believe in him probably the most out of anyone. Obviously we know with Eric Bieniemy, he's a good play caller. But to me, out of all the play callers in the league, I like Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Eric Bieniemy, not in that order. You know what I mean? Like I said, based off play calling and scheme and what I see, I mean, Eric Bieniemy's fantastic in what he does and obviously, his creativity. So if you want to put Bieniemy up there, but I like Kyle Shanahan 1 really as a play caller overall, Bieniemy 2, and then probably Sean McVay 3. But obviously once Bieniemy goes to head coach, I'm not sure if he's still going to be calling plays at that point or he'll have a different OC. So Sean McVay can call plays. I like his creativity. He's very smart, very detailed-oriented, remembers everything. But I think for me, I like Kyle Shanahan the best as far as play caller. Is just him working with Mike Shanahan, his dad. I mean, the sports knowledge that fucking head coach and that kid and that man has is if I could have any head coach after BA, Bruce Arians leaves, it wouldn't necessarily be Todd Bowles or Byron Leftwich. It would be Kyle Shanahan. That would be my number one choice for a head coach out of anyone in the league. I don't know if that's surprising to a lot of people or not, but I think that he is the most talented brain based off play calling. I mean, shit, you got to a fucking Super Bowl with Matt Ryan. You lost, but you got there. You know what I mean? You got the best out of Matt Ryan and the talent that you had with the shaky defense, right? You ended up getting there with Jimmy G, and Jimmy G is middle of the pack. I mean, we're talking like out of 32 quarterbacks, like 16th? You know what I mean? And obviously him throwing a couple picks shouldn't have been that surprising. You need to have someone better. But you got Fred Warner there, top 3 linebacker in the league. Fantastic. I love him. You know what I mean? You have Nick Bosa, one of the best pass rushers. So, you still have Eric Armstead then, obviously with Bosa and Armstead and DeForest Buckner, you had the big 3, the 3 amigos, the 3 musketeers, but then we know DeForest Buckner now is on the Colts helping them out, right? But the offense has weapons, Debo, Ayuk, they got some weapons there, but you're going to need someone better at the quarterback position. Thank you. So I'm kind of interested to see where they decide to go. You know what I mean? I'm not really sold on Fields or Trey Lance or Mac Jones, but I'll tell you what, whoever they pick, everyone on paper is going to be saying Rams, Matthew Stafford, Rams. Don't be surprised if another team, Seattle might be trending downwards with the whole Russell Wilson drama. I get it. But it seems like every year they're always in the mix of winning the division or the wild card. Kyler Murray, you got J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones. Who knows if they can stay healthy? But with them and Budda Baker and some of the weapons they have, they might be able to get a playoff spot also. The NFC West is loaded. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Niners ended up, winning the division or competing if all their players could stay healthy. That's a big if. I don't know. But even if they didn't win the division, and let's say the Rams or Seattle did, I could see 3 teams making the playoffs or even the Niners getting a wild card. I think that they're talented. I think that they could do a lot. And even if it was Mac Jones at quarterback, if they had the right play callers and the O-line played well, you had McGlinchey, you ended up giving Trent Williams that big deal. If you can protect and have the defense be elite and be a top 10 defense, you're going to have to see what you're going to do, obviously, with the Shermanator, Richard Sherman. But as long as Fred Warner there and Nick Bosa's there, that's 2 of the most dynamic defenders in the league. And then you still got Debo, who's dynamic. But I'm interested to see what else the Niners are going to do. But I still think even if they had Mac Jones, they could make the playoffs. Justin Fields, they can make the playoffs. Trey Lance, they can make the playoffs. So I'm not really sure where they're going to go. I like Trey Lance the best as far as fit. Everyone's going to have their opinions. But like I said, there hasn't been a lot of film on Trey Lance. Justin Fields has the athleticism, and we saw what he did at The Ohio State University. So there's some skill set there, and there's some talent there. But the only questions that people have been saying about Justin Fields is that his work ethic and his study of the game isn't the same as the other QBs. So that's why I think some teams are kind of hesitant that he doesn't show the full. He's not as bad as like Johnny Football, like Johnny Manziel, where he's just partying and he just doesn't give a shit. But as far as like studying the playbook, putting in the extra time, being dedicated to the game instead of just being in an aura and like, I'm the man, I'm Justin Fields, I'm Ohio State. So, I'm not sure if that's something that's smoke or not, but I know some of the talent evaluators have said, That's kind of the whispers around the league that Justin Fields might not be as committed to the playbook and the game of football, at the quarterback position of what you're going to have to do to be a good quarterback in the NFL, the sacrifices that you're going to have to make, that the other guys, like the Trevor Lawrences, the Zach Wilsons, the Trey Lances, and possibly the Mac Jones have a little bit more of that. So we'll see if that ends up being a factor, big enough for them to pass on him. And maybe that's why they're thinking Mac Jones over Justin Fields. Maybe that's why, but we're going to have to wait and see. Going to WrestleMania next year, you should go. Shit, get a ticket for me, my guy. I'll love to go with you. That'd be awesome. Naomi Brown, I'm telling you, biggest unknown player in this draft. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to end up doing some more film study. We're going to have to wait and see. Zaven Collins, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, with a lot of these players, once we get past the top 10, anything is possible. When you're looking at mock drafts and you're looking at positions, I mean, Elijah Moore, Ole Miss wide receiver, Kadarius Toney, another wide receiver, from Florida. It's just really hard to kind of gauge where people are going to go with the mock drafts, and it also depends too, as you know, Tess. When you pick in the draft and when they do these mock drafts, right? Just because you need a wide receiver in the first round and a D tackle in the second round, you don't know that they might flip it and get the D tackle in the first round and the wide receiver in the second round. So sometimes things get flipped. So it's like, oh, we need an offensive lineman, but then they go for offensive lineman in the second round. Like maybe the Bengals go Kyle Pitts, and then they go O-line in the second round if they have a second round pick. So sometimes it's based off need, right? Sometimes it's based off overall talent, and sometimes guys are sitting there in the draft that you thought, fuck, this guy is no way he's going to be there, and then he's there, or other people trade up or trade back. So it's going to be interesting to see. But, I mean, if Mac Jones goes 3, we're going to kind of have to wait and see. And obviously we know most of the picks that are going to be, in the top 10. That's a good question. I'm trying to think for you, Tess. I'm seeing where good fits. Once you get past the top 10, not a lot of people's names, are well known, like Kwity Paye, Vikings, J.C. Horn. There's some of these other guys, Micah Parsons. You have to really know what you're talking about and go through, different pieces there. Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons has got a lot of talent. He's one of the better linebackers in this draft. But, I mean, it all really depends. Kadarius Toney, could go late first round, but he could end up going to a team, let's say like the Colts with Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? They could get a guy like that because, T.Y. is going to be there, but it's short term. It's not going to be long term. He's kind of at the end of his career. So even though the Saints fans are hoping for Kadarius Toney, he might get picked, 8 to 10 picks sooner than you think. Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU. You're like, okay, that could be a guy in the late first round, and he could end up getting picked from, like, the Titans because Corey Davis now is on the Jets. There's a lot of different pieces that could get picked, sooner than later. But, yeah, I'm not too sure with that. I mean, some guys are first-round picks. ETN, from Clemson could be a first-round pick. Najee Harris could be a first-round pick, or they both could go second-round picks. Asante Samuel Jr., is another guy that most people have as like a second-round pick, late first round, right? And he could go to like the Buccaneers possibly, but I know we're going to be looking at, because we end up getting Antoine Winfield Jr., right, from his dad that played on the Vikings. Maybe we get Asante Samuel, Jr. when he played with his dad. So, I mean, it's just crazy on how many father-son combos there are, what I mean? Running backs, there could be no running backs picked in the first round. I mean, that's very unlikely. You would think that at least at the very bottom, if not Pittsburgh, if they pass on Najee or Etienne, you know what I mean, or Tampa Bay does, I'm hoping Tampa Bay gets one of those two guys. But I know we're looking at pass rusher for a JPP replacement. Sue's going to be out down the road, but we got Vita Vea, JPP, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh. So we're going to need depth at that position. So I know they're going to be looking at pass rusher at the end of the first round. But if Najee Harris is sitting there, can you really pass on him? Because we need a running back too, and that's the second round pick that we're going to be looking at, either Najee Harris or Etienne from Clemson or from Alabama, and then maybe corner in the third round. But if they think Asante Samuel Jr. is the best possible fit, and they can add him at corner with Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Jamel Dean, and then Asante Samuel Jr. with Antoine Winfield Jr. on the back end, if they think that's the best fit and they go corner at the last pick in the first round, I know they're looking pass rusher, running back, corner, so you never know. Most of the mock drafts that I've seen have Tampa Bay picking a pass rusher or possibly, a running back like Najee Harris or Etienne, in the late first round. But you never know what the team is going to do in the first 3 rounds because they have 3 needs. What need at what position and what round is going to be the best value, Because we already know Najee Harris and Etienne will not be there in the 3rd round. They're going to be first round late, right? More than likely, unless someone trades up and loves that player and they need him. But it sounds like really the Steelers and the Bucks, the Steelers don't have James Conner, so they have the biggest need. Tampa Bay would just be doing it for depth, just to try to put some pressure on the league with Leonard Fournette, Lombardi Lenny 1 year, Rojo, and then having him. But I'm not too sure. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you got AK-41, Latavius Murray still there. Definitely the offensive line you guys have been building. There's not going to be a quarterback worthy of getting one. Prior to, we were like, oh, Mac Jones might fall to the end of the first round, and Tampa Bay and the Saints and New England. Maybe we're looking at maybe a possible late first round, guy. But now Mac Jones might go 3 overall to the Niners. So there goes that fucking theory and that possibility. So with the Saints, you need wide receiver. Like I said, you could have had Justin Jefferson last year. You ended up getting Ruiz from Michigan. But Sean Payton, you're not going to have a quarterback, so let's stick with Jameis and stick with Taysom Hill. Defense, obviously at corner, you could use, some pieces in the secondary. I think you could do that. You could use a replacement for Trey Hendrickson. You're going to need that as well. So D-line, all right, depth, corner, right, but wide receiver too. Because now Emmanuel Sanders is no longer there. Calvin Griffin knows. Tess, So if you could get like an Elijah Moore from Ole Miss or someone in the late, first round, like a Kadarius Toney, if he doesn't go, to the Colts, in the early 20s. Linebacker, you would need depth there. I agree. Corner, need depth. A piece on the D-line to replace Trey Hendrickson to give someone with, Jordan, Cam Jordan, someone that you could pair up with him again. So those are the pieces that you're going to be looking at. Offensive line looks good. The only piece on the offense, I think, is wide receiver. Jared Cook is gone. Maybe a tight end at some point, that you'd be looking at, depending on the talent level of the tight end position at somewhere in the draft. Tight end, wide receiver is a need, but definitely corner, D-line, and obviously linebacker and secondary. That's where I would look. Yeah, need to replace Quan, need to replace Trey Hendrickson, need to replace Emmanuel Sanders. So you can definitely see where the needs are going to be. But I think that with all that being said, the defense is still pretty good. I think really wide receiver is going to be the spot. Yeah, there's a couple replacements in there, but do you believe in them? Do you believe that you're probably not going to get production like you did there, but if Cam Jordan gets double teamed, no one thought that T-Rex was going to be as good as he was. I don't think even Saints fans thought that T-Rex was going to be as good as he was. And he ended up blowing up. So, if you get double teams on Cam, anything can happen if you got a motor. We need to replace Rankins. Yeah, so it'll be interesting on what they do. I think the Saints, most of the time, they draft pretty good. But like I said, as when we get the money coming in, Marshawn Lattimore and some of these other guys, when their contracts are going to be up, you're probably not going to be able to keep everyone. So you're going to have to pick and choose who you're going to want. And once you get into salary cap hell in the next couple years, and obviously getting the future after Jameis Winston, having Taysom Hill do his normal role. But I think after this season, depending on if you guys make the playoffs or not, regardless, you're going to have to get a QB, more than likely probably in free agency. Yeah, the Saints have to hit, because if you don't hit in this draft, there's a chance that maybe the Falcons will be at the bottom, but depending on how the Panthers play and who they get at quarterback, and if they get Trey Lance or Justin Fields and Teddy Two Gloves and CMC stays healthy, there's a possibility the Saints could slide to 3 in the NFC South. I doubt it. I still think that they're probably going to be number 2 behind the Bucs, with the talent that they have at coach, O-line, hopefully another wide receiver with Michael Thomas, AK-41, a great defense. So I still think that the Saints are the number 2 team, even though Breeze is retired. But the Panthers are coming. And depending on what the Falcons do, we're going to have to kind of wait and see. They're still at the bottom, but if they get, Kyle Pitts, obviously that would be interesting. Still, they're shitty on defense. Still, they don't have enough to really get the wins, in my opinion. But with that lineup with Julio and Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and Matt Ryan, that's kind of sexy on paper, but still probably at the bottom. But the Panthers, I feel, they lost Curtis Samuel. You got DJ Moore there. You're going to have to be able to see Curtis Samuel's on the Washington football team with Scary Terry McLaurin now. A little reunion from The Ohio State University to make the Washington football team wide receiving core a little bit better. But I think that the Panthers are getting closer to you guys, and they're getting closer to Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay, obviously, we know I got all my starters back, and I should be a very good team, but we don't know. We got to wait and see how everything plays out with injuries, and hopefully we don't have anything, season ending. But I think the Panthers are one of those teams that they're, Coach Rule, if Run CMC is like, let's say he wins like not rookie of the year, but like, offensive player of the year or MVP kind of like stats. At that point, if Run CMC has like an amazing, 2,000 yards rushing or like 1,800 and 15 to 20 TDs, at that point, if everything else kind of comes into place and they play good, is it that crazy to think that the Panthers could be, number 2, maybe tied with the Saints with like 10 wins or something like that? You know what I mean? Since we're going to 17 games, going 10-7 or maybe 11-6. Something like that. I mean, I think the teams, the Saints are in a good spot, even though they have Jameis. I'm not sure if I'm sold on him with you guys long term. Absolutely short term, right? And then Taysom Hill filling in. But it'll be interesting to see, like you mentioned, Tess, the staff and the pieces that you ended up losing, the new people that you'll be gaining. Obviously, Breeze being out the door. But the Panthers are one of those teams, I think, depending on what they do in the draft, they're going to have to replace Curtis Samuel. Obviously, they haven't found a way to replace Luke Kuechly, and they probably never will. Riverboat Ron's no longer there. Cam's not there. Teddy Two Gloves is not the answer long term, but they are starting to creep, it seems like, to go from a team that maybe is winning 5, 6, 7 wins, and maybe they're on the cusp, depending on what happens this year in the draft or next year, to get to that 8, 9, 10 wins. They're getting closer. They're not there maybe yet, but if Run CMC plays fantastic, that probably adds, a team that wins maybe 5, 6 wins, possibly to 8, 9, 10 wins. So I don't know what we're going to get from Run CMC if he's going to be healthy long term or not. But that's for us to be able to watch and enjoy and see if he ends up being a top 3 running back in this league again. So, Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL and MLB with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or the GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at NW Sports Fanatics. But it's exciting to kind of see where things are going to go. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of mock drafts. I've been seeing a lot of potential trades. But like I said, it's kind of hard to be able to gauge things because, like I said, a lot of shit is smoke. And a lot of times you don't know what position the teams are going to go for. Besides maybe at the top of the draft, you kind of have an idea, okay, Trevor Lawrence, that's going to be a quarterback. Zach Wilson more than likely, is going to go too. But like I said, if anything happens and the Jets trade out of the number 2 spot, right? Or they pick someone else. Like if they go Kyle Pitts at 2, right? The Jets do, and they keep Sam Darnold, and Zach Wilson goes to 3, the whole draft is going to shake up. And it's going to be crazy madness because then people that you thought were going to be there aren't. And like I said, it's going to be very quarterback heavy. It's going to be really heavy with pass rushers. It's a little light on the O-line. There'll be a few O-linemen, picked up. Not a lot of safeties that I see. There'll be some corners, but it's a little light at the linebacker position. I mean, there's a few pieces, a few names that stand out, but it doesn't really have that same kind of feel like a normal, typical draft. Obviously, they're going quarterback heavy, but I'm not believing in all these QBs. Not all 5 are panning out. Let's hope we get 2 out of the 5 that pan out, but who knows? We might only have 1 that pans out of the 5. The only one I really believe in is Zach Wilson. I don't believe in 100% in Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he could be like a Joe Burrow, but if he ends up, getting hurt, I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. Atlanta may take Penei Sewell. I mean, they could use an O-lineman. I think, defense would be more of a need. But if Atlanta is sitting there, I mean, you might as well get draft capital because it really doesn't matter if you get Penei Sewell or Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase, right? Or you pick a quarterback. You're not going to be good, right? Atlanta's going to be shitty, right? So you might as well trade back and get an extra first rounder, right? Or an extra second rounder, knowing you're not going to make the playoffs this year. And then if you can hit on that draft pick later on in the draft or next year, if they get a future first rounder next year for a team to move up to 4, that might benefit them long term, after moving on from Matt Ryan and Julio and trying to rebuild the roster. So I don't think necessarily Atlanta should keep the pick. They are the team that seems like that would be the most likely to trade back. You know what I mean? Because the Bengals will pick at 5. They're going to pick Pitts or Sewell, at 5. But at 4, Atlanta's going to be garbage. And if you can get an extra first-round pick like the following draft, that might be like a top 10 pick, a top 10, maybe top 5, the following year. And that could really help them depending on who comes out. Like imagine if Kayvon Thibodeau and they get an extra first-round pick and then he's available at top 10 and he goes like 6th overall next year and he's the next Von Miller. That could be huge. Because we know Deion Jones has got some talent, but if you get like a Kayvon Thibodeau on Atlanta, and just based off trading back like 2 spots or 3 spots, that could be huge. So I'm thinking Atlanta, is in a very interesting position. Same thing with the Bengals. But as you see my thumbnail, Burrow, Mixon, Pitts, Boyd, Higgins, and that's no A.J. Green in there. That's no, no deep threat out there as well with John Ross. So it's kind of sexy on paper when you look at it. But who do they got at O-line? I mean, I think most people couldn't even name one offensive lineman on the Bengals. That's not good. So if you get Penei Sewell, at least you have something. Tess, who will the Panthers take at 8? Well, if Mac Jones goes 3, it's got to be Justin Fields or Trey Lance. But again, it all depends if the Bears trade up, if the Panthers trade up to 4. Because they're worried that Trey Lance or Fields will be gone by then. But if I had to take a guess, that's who I'm thinking. I'm thinking Trey Lance or Justin Fields with the Panthers at 8. So you get them to be behind Teddy Two Gloves and Teddy Bridgewater. But the thing is you need a strong running game. They need to build the O-line more. Defense still has a lot of holes. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but like I said, with the Panthers, they're not in the same kind of position like the Niners, where you could plug in a quarterback right away and you could probably make the playoffs. You plug in a quarterback, with Fields or Mac Jones or Trey Lance on the Panthers, they're not making the playoffs. In my opinion, I don't know if a Panthers are a playoff team. I mean, even if Run CMC plays great, losing Curtis Samuel, I think, is going to be a bigger impact than people think. Yeah, you have DJ Moore there. You still have some pieces, but this team is nowhere near what it was a couple years ago, with Cam and Riverboat Ron and Luke Kuechly. I mean, I like Spider Burns. They have, Derek Brown, from Auburn. They had some pieces in the last couple years that they've drafted, but they're a little ways away. They're getting closer, you know what I mean? But and every time we sleep on Atlanta, every 4 years, they make a wild card, you know what I mean? And they put it together. So I'm not sure if this upcoming year is going to be the year, but I guess if you end up drafting Kyle Pitts at 4 and you have Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and Matt Ryan, like Calvin Griffin was saying, that could be very similar to this Bengals offense that you're looking at. You're like, okay, maybe the Falcons could leapfrog the Panthers, and then the Panthers would be 4, Falcons would be 3, Saints would be 2, Bucks would be 1. I mean, based on just what it looks like on paper right now, but you never know. They went all defense last year. Panthers drafting all offense this year. Well, but they still need some help on defense. The defense really isn't that good, though. I mean, you got Brian Spider Burns. I like him. But I mean, how many guys do they really have on defense that you feel comfortable saying that these guys are going to be studs? Jeremy Chin, Jeremy Chin is nice. That was a kind of a standout player. That was a sleeper. He's good. But how many guys did they have on the Panthers D that people really love? Derek Brown is a prospect, but really Jeremy Chin is the one, and Spider Burns, Brian Burns from Florida State. I mean, those 2 guys, but is there others that people really believe in based on the film that we saw last year if you watch the games? I'm not sure. So very interesting topics to kind of go over with the draft and everything that's going on. But I got Good Morning Football on right now. Obviously, that happened this morning. They got Kyle Pitts on the TV. Surprise, surprise, showing off his speed. The biggest thing future rookies should keep in mind when they go into their NFL careers is what they're talking about. A little bit of Pat McAfee show, obviously, as well. And like I said, I got to catch up on the Pat McAfee show. And like I said, a little slow with news. I mean, there's not a whole lot. We had the MLB opening day, so we obviously seen that. So we've seen what obviously what teams did, with the Houston Astros, obviously with Calvin Griffin's team getting the dub, and obviously my team with the Dodgers with me and my dad not being able to get the dub in week 1, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Aaron Rodgers is going to try to do Jeopardy and be the host for a couple weeks, so that'll be interesting to see. I'm not a big Jeopardy guy or Wheel of Fortune guy, but I'll probably tune in to see what Aaron Rodgers does, because I know he's a big fan of, obviously the Jeopardy brand and Alex Trebek, and I watch the Pat McAfee show every single day, just like Good Morning Football. So it'll be interesting to see how serious he takes it, which I know he will. So we're gonna have to kind of go from there. Looks like the next guest on the Broken Skull podcast for Stone Cold's Chris Jericho. I'm definitely tuning into that because those are two of my probably top 6 wrestlers of all time. I love Chris Jericho, very underrated. Great career, ECW, WCW, WWF, WWE, and obviously AEW. So we'll have to see what he says. Who are y'all tops teams in each division? Tess. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about NFL or are you talking about MLB? Because in NFL, I got Buccaneers, Packers, Rams, and probably Washington football team or the Giants. And then Y2J made the list. And then on the flip side, I got Bills, I got Chiefs, probably Colts, depending on what Carson Wentz does, because the Titans' defense blows. And then obviously the Titans, even though they got Tannehill and they got King Henry and they got A.J. Brown, they lost Corey Davis, so they might still make the playoffs. They could still win it, but I think the Colts are, depending on what Carson Wentz does, there's a chance that they could win the division with 10-7 record, something like that. More than likely, they'll get some losses. Darius Leonard is a beast, and I like their pieces on defense, but I'm not really sold on Carson Wentz just yet. Let me see it first with him and Frank Reich, and then obviously Bills, Chiefs, Colts, and then probably the Browns, because I'm not really sure if I'm sold on the Steelers and the Ravens. And the Steelers don't have Bud Dupree anymore. He's on the Titans, so maybe that Titans and the Colts will be fighting. If Bud Dupree can make an impact like he did for the Steelers, who knows? Maybe the Titans can win that division, but they need more than just Bud Dupree. But we'll see. So Titans, because I like obviously Tannehill a lot more than I like Carson Wentz personally. So Titans or Colts there, and then in the North, I'm not really a big believer in the Steelers. Ravens, we're gonna have to see what we get there. Browns look pretty good. Bengals are at the bottom, so definitely the Browns and the Steelers and the Ravens will be beating each other up. The Colts and the Titans will be beating each other up. Even though New England made all those moves, maybe they can get into the playoffs and they can be number 2. But Miami's right around the corner also, so Miami and New England will be getting closer to Buffalo. And then we'll see what the Chargers and the Raiders do, obviously, in the AFC West. But, I'm not really a big believer in Denver. So that's where I kind of see it. But we always have teams that go from the bottom to the top or third place to the top. So who maybe the Chargers get into the playoffs this year with Justin Herbert playing great. Maybe the Niners get in with Mac Jones. Maybe the Dolphins get in as a wild card, depending on what Tua does. But that's kind of the gauge that I have. And you got the Giants get in and leapfrog, the Washington football team or get second place. But I like the Giants, going in. But obviously the NFC West is the best team, player for player, division player for player, in the NFL. Rams, Niners, Seahawks, and obviously the Cardinals. All 4 of them could be in the playoffs. They won't all get in, obviously, because you can't have 4, but you could have 3. And obviously, depending on what the Niners do health-wise, I could see them at the top or in second place. The Rams are the obvious choice because you got Matthew Stafford there. So I think obviously seeing the Buccaneers, the Packers, the Rams, at the top, and then the Washington football team based on what we've seen at the end of, the year going in to next year, the draft and everything that's there. But I would, like I said, the Niners and the Giants seem like they're the 2 teams that I believe in more than maybe the Vikings or the Bears or the Lions. I don't believe in them. The Giants I believe in, competing, with the Washington football team. I don't know what we're going to get out of the Eagles and the Cowboys just yet. And who knows? Maybe the Cardinals and Kyler. If we can get Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt to have impact seasons with Budda Baker, maybe the Cardinals, can compete for a top spot, or being second place as a wild card. Their O-line to me is kind of trash, and their defense isn't there yet, but they're kind of on the cusp of getting there too. So we're going to have to see. Troll Patrol. Message from an Eagle. What it do? What up, Ryan? NWSF. Hope we draft a linebacker from Notre Dame. Jeremiah. Oh, Jack. Fly, Eagles, fly. Enjoy your day, bud. I am, man. I'm grinding, dude. Did the live streams for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Did the Dodger live stream, obviously going and gotten that big L against the Rockies. Pretty good numbers. I think I'm going to have pretty good position on YouTube. So I think that, if I can get 400 or 500, views on a Dodger live stream or more on almost every single one I do, and as we keep moving forward, and if the Dodgers make the World Series or the playoffs, I should be able to have over 1,000 people in there, kind of like similar to an NFL stream. So if I can get some more Dodger fans, MLB fans, just to join the Fanatic family, and if they end up loving football and didn't know who we were, that's just a cherry on top. But I'm trying to get more baseball fans that just love baseball only, maybe love baseball and college football, maybe love baseball, college football, and NFL, or maybe like me, love baseball, NFL, college football, and wrestling. Obviously the quad, all four. Not the trifecta, but going for the quadruple double, loving all four of those. The only one that I don't love is the NBA and March Madness, really. March Madness is okay. I can't say I don't like March Madness. I just don't like college basketball anymore during the regular season, and I hate the NBA. But, with that being said, will I end up doing a live stream for the NBA Finals? Probably. Just for the fans that like the Nets and the Lakers, and they want to see with LeBron winning or losing, or if KD and his super team with Kyrie, with Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, James Harden, they're going to get their ring. It's just almost insane. It's one thing when you had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and KD, and we're like, this isn't fucking fair, right? And then now you're going Kyrie, KD, James Harden, fucking Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge. Are you kidding me? And then with that being said, LeBron and AD and Andre Drummond, they're all fucking injured and shit. But the Lakers with LeBron and AD and Kuz and who they got, the Lakers could still beat that super team. Because just because you have a super team like that, there's only one basketball and a lot of egos on that fucking team on the Nets. So there's no guarantee, that some other team. I'm not sure if a team like Miami or the Boston Celtics can, beat a team like that. Because if it's the playoffs, that just seems really unfair to me. If everyone's healthy, Nets, Lakers, I don't know how much, there's going to be fans that are going to want to watch it. But, me being a Blazer fan and trying to root for Dame Dalla, and we don't have it. We're nowhere near being championship worthy. But I love Damian Lillard. I love CJ McCollum. But, the NBA is just, I'm not really feeling the NBA like I did, unfortunately. So, but I'll still probably end up doing some playoff games, possibly, if there's Lakers on, or the Brooklyn Nets bandwagon, fans of the Lakers, bandwagon Braun fans, bandwagon Laker fans, bandwagon KD fans. Maybe I'll do the NBA Finals live stream just to do it. Maybe see if we can get some, donations, maybe some extra subs, this and that. But I don't know. I think it's like you almost got to pay me to do NBA. I don't enjoy it. And the sad thing is like when I was talking with that sponsorship opportunity to be like an influencer and possibly get paid to promote this other company, they want to do it during the NBA playoffs. And I told them, I was like, I get most of my views in the NFL season, so I don't know if that's I can always help promote and do that, but I just don't like the NBA. I can't lie. Be like, oh, I love the NBA. It's great. It's like, I fucking hate it. Like, it's not the same when Kobe was around. Rest in peace, Kobe. Or when Jordan was playing. It's just like a whole different game. There's not enough superstars for me to really want to pay attention to. Like, I like Ja Morant. He's nice. Zion. Obviously, LaMelo Ball within the last 2 years. But those three guys, I'm not going to drop everything and be like, oh, my God. Like, I would rather watch the Jets play than watch anybody in the NBA play or watch any college basketball. When it gets to the Final Four and the championship game, I could probably do live streams for that. But that's just what I'm kind of feeling. Let's see here. Titans were added as the 17th game. Yeah. So Astros going back to the top. Calvin Griffin says, hey, no George Springer, right? But you still have plenty of weapons. And Zach pitched beautifully yesterday based on the little clips that I watched this morning, and obviously looking at some of the highlights on Twitter and whatnot. So we'll see where they go. I'm not sure if you're going to be in that World Series, but maybe they end up making the playoffs again. It'll be interesting to see. Titans were added as the Saints 17th game. But is that going to be week 17? I don't think those games are going to be the last game of the year. That's the extra game, but based off that graphic, I think that a lot of those games are going to be sprinkled in. I don't think all those games necessarily are going to be the 17th game, unless I'm wrong. You tell me, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw the list, but I don't think they said, hey, these are going to be the last games of the regular season. I think they're going to sprinkle in those matchups, here and there. So, do I think that Jalen Hurts is going to have success this year? Yes, I think he is. I mean, it all depends on the offensive line. Brooks and a lot of these guys, Lane Johnson, they are going to have to stay healthy for the full year. You have Kelsey there at center as well. So they have good offensive linemen if they can stay healthy, right? But that's the question. Can they stay healthy? Miles Sanders is nice. They're going to have to replace Zach Ertz, even though you got Dallas Goedert. But if they want to run a 2 tight end set, they may be looking at another one in the draft, right? You also may be looking at wide receiver because they're going to need help there. Alshon, obviously Jalen Reagor probably doesn't have it. And you can't have Greg Ward and some of the guys that were fillers. You're going to need something better. Defense is getting a little bit older too with, Fletcher Cox. So I think Jalen Hurts, I mean, like I said, Eagles fans that were, I hate Dak Prescott, right? Carson Wentz is better. And now you look in the mirror, right? Eagles fans, message from an Eagle, Troll Patrol. Now, Jalen Hurts is Dak Prescott 2.0. So sometimes you got to be kind of careful what you wish for or you don't wish for, because ultimately what you're looking at that's the product on the Eagles football field is exactly what you're going to be getting from the Dallas Cowboys side. You're going to get an athletic quarterback, right, that has potential. You're going to have a guy that's going to be able to do bootleg, a guy that's going to do play action, a guy that can use his legs to extend plays. But just because I think Jalen Hurts is going to be successful, it all depends on, who you were going to have. I would have stayed at 6 if I was them and drafted Kyle Pitts, or Jamar Chase. That would have been obviously the best case scenario instead of trading back, right? And then maybe not hitting on that draft pick, but you might be missing out on the next Justin Jefferson. You might be missing out on the next Travis Kelce, George Kittle. You better know what the fuck you're doing, and especially if Carson Wentz is gone and it's Jalen Hurts' team moving forward. So you kind of fucked Jalen Hurts and that organization by trading back. The best case scenario now is you're hoping that maybe Devontae Smith is sitting there at 12, if that's who you are looking to get to give him that extra weapon, if that's who you're looking at. But they're not going to be there. Kyle Pitts is not going to be there at 12 for the Eagles. Jamar Chase is not going to be there at 12. So I do think Hurts is going to be a good football player. He can be like a fantasy football, top 12 kind of guy because he can use his legs too. But it'll be interesting to see because, like I said, Hurts and Dak will be mirroring each other, what they do if Dak can come back from the injury. But the defense on the Cowboys side is I'm concerned about it. And the Eagles have a lot of pieces to fill. This could be a down year for them. I mean, I don't know. But like I said, depending on what they do in the draft the next couple years will determine the success that Hurts has, if he's short-term answer or long-term, or if they're going to, do the whole Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts thing, and then Jalen Hurts' replacement gets drafted, and then he's going to be looking over his shoulder. Hopefully, Howie Roseman and the squad, they can get it right. But it seems like the Eagles don't get it right. DK Metcalf or Reagor. Or, certain guys like that, you know what I mean? Or like, Reagor, it just, some teams see it and some teams don't. Some teams draft based off need, not talent. They're like, I want a burner, I want a D-Jax. But now you look back and if you could have had DK Metcalf, you're like, oh, fuck, we fucked up. You know what I mean? And DK obviously looks great because he had Danger Russ and he had Russell Wilson. But DK's athleticism, regardless if he had him or not, he still would have been able to be better than what anything Reagor is ever going to give you in his whole career, period. We know that because he's physical, he's a big body. His hands sometimes weren't the greatest. Route running sometimes was shaky, but he has been getting better. And obviously, if you have a top 3 quarterback in Danger Russ, Russell Wilson throwing to you and giving you, footballs on a dime, it's going to make you better. And you're playing with Tyler Lockett, a top 12 wide receiver in this league, in my opinion. So that definitely is going to help, obviously learn the playbook and have someone you can compete with. And that's extra, potential that DK has. Yeah. So I'd rather, is that what you'd rather watch? Yeah. Than NBA or college basketball. And I know I'm not the only one. I mean, I see some people on YouTube doing like NBA and college football. I mean, gosh, I just can't do it, man. The league is shit. It's just not, it's one thing when you had fans, but it just seems like, I think, as far as fan bases are concerned, I don't think I've seen a fan base take more of a dip than the NBA and college basketball than anything else. I mean, I know wrestling fans are up and down, but obviously with AEW and hopefully we get fans back, they're pretty steady. We lose some, you gain some go to the other organization in AEW, some stay with WWE, but NBA and college basketball are at an all-time low. I absolutely hate both of them, and I hate to say that because NBA used to be my number one when I was a kid. But the players are different. The game is different. The league is different. Everything is different, and I don't like it at all. Sad to say. Lenny D, he was in the chat. He's working a lot. He was in the chat yesterday. He hopped in when I was doing the Dodger game towards the end, and we were talking for a little bit. He didn't even know that fucking WWE went to Peacock. I was like, bro, this shit is on Peacock. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, bro, have you been living under a fucking rock? Like, Lenny. I was like, the shit is on Peacock now. He's like, well, how come I can sign into WWE Network? Well, you might still be able to use the app for a couple more days, but I think they're shutting it down very soon, and you're going to have to go and watch the content there and then sign up for $4.99, $9.99 a month, ads or no ads, and then watch the pay-per-view. But some of the content there is available, but pay-per-views you're going to have to pay, and then I don't know if they're going to make the content available only with that, or if you can watch everything and only have to pay for the pay-per-views $9.99 a month. So you have access to everything free and then pay $9.99 a month just for the pay-per-views. I don't know what's going to happen with Peacock, but I haven't really been hearing big things. But he'll be in here and there. And NFL draft he'll be in. And I don't know what his work schedule is, but he usually comes in the afternoon and evenings. But it sounds like he's been tired a lot. I've asked him how his mental has been doing because I always like to check up on people when I haven't seen them or they haven't seen me. Mental health, it sounds like it might be okay, maybe a little shaky, so I always try to encourage and positive words and let them know I'm here on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or on YouTube, or reach out to me by email if you need it. Like, I don't want to see any of my brothers and sisters and the Fanatic family hurting out there. I mean, obviously, I already went through the bullshit, 3 weeks in the bed, feeling sorry for myself and just not having any hope, and I feel great now. So I've climbed out of it, changed my eating habits. I'm exercising. I'm doing more work. And obviously I'm going to have to look for another extra opportunity on top of YouTube to be able to make some more funds, because obviously with the job situation, with what happened, 3 weeks of not being in a good mental headspace, I got to find a new opportunity to do that. So, and like I said, they have a temp agency like down the road from my house, so I can have like a meeting on Monday, take a pee test, be clean, no drugs, no weed, nothing, you know what I mean? Have my pee be clean, pass a test, on Monday, and try to get to work on, Tuesday, warehouse or maybe some kind of office job on the phone. I can do sales. I can do customer service. I can work warehouse. So more than likely, that's what I'm going to be doing. And then I'll still be doing the YouTube thing full time. I'm going to grind on that. So hopefully I can get a job that's like 8 to 4, 7 to 3, something like that. So that way I can still do afternoon MLB live streams, still do NFL, things as well. So I'm excited about the new opportunity, and I need to be able to make some money, obviously, to pay these fucking taxes off by next month. So I need to be able to pay the state and the federal, and I guess I have to write a check. I don't know if I can do money order or whatever, but I got to be able to send one out to the state and the federal. I'm not too excited about that, but. And then on top of that, when they talk about, all these H&R Block and TurboTax, the shit is free. Bullshit. That motherfucking shit is never free. Shit is always like $50 to $100. They have different options with the taxes. They're like, free. Fuck you. That shit ain't free. Shit fucking costs me money every time, no matter what I'm doing. And then they try to get you with like, oh, do you want a personal assistant? Another $100. Fuck that. I don't need no personal fucking assistant. Let me fucking just take a picture of the bullshit. You know what I mean? Upload that on your end and click a couple fucking buttons and let's get it over with. You know what I mean? Like I don't need some fucking person talking to me. And I had a lot. Like I had a job that I did for a couple days at the tire place that was just too physical for me to be able to do. And then I ended up going to the temp agency, did that for a while, then got hired on by the company. Then I had the YouTube thing. So normally I like to have just like one job throughout the year. So it's just like one form. But this past year I had like 4 or 5 forms, that I had to, do based off the temp agency and the jobs and all that. So not too thrilled about that. And then it gave me a fucking error. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I don't want to have to, I already paid for this shit. They already took my money out. And they're like, oh, do you want to file in the mail? Fuck you. I don't want to file in the mail. You already took $100 from me. What do you mean my shit's not accurate? And then I went back and then they had my YouTube information in there twice. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened there. Some kind of idiot like I am, just put it in there twice or it just copied it or something. I don't know. But I got it to go through, and so now I just have to be poor for a while and keep working hard, and hopefully I'll end up having some kind of money. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna be positive, grind, pay these fucking taxes, and then hopefully I'll end up having some money for myself by my birthday, next month at the beginning of May 2nd, so that'll be nice. And hopefully when I do some MLB live streams, I can get some donations. I know it's going to be low on the donations starting off, but once people know that I'm doing it, hopefully I can get some donations on that end. And I know I'll always get donations when I do NFL coverage as well, so that'll be fun. Or maybe when I do wrestling too. So future's looking good. And then I got that opportunity to be an influencer, with that company. I'll have a little phone call with them next week, and we'll see where it goes. Even if I can just gain subs, and if I can get over 20K, regardless of what kind of money they're going to pay me for the views, because the views aren't going to be the greatest until I get back into football season, unless something crazy happens and YouTube starts recommending my fucking channel, which I don't know if that'll happen anytime soon. And then once we get into NFL, I'll get more views there, but it just seems like a lot of people aren't getting my content either. Like, I don't know if it's just based off the bell and getting the notifications added, but I get a lot of people that say, I am notified, with your notifications, and I don't get them. So I'm like, thanks, YouTube. Fucking A, man. I'm working hard. I'm trying to get past 20,000 subscribers, and you're not even telling, the few hundred people that I need to add on to the ones that are watching that my shit's out. But, like I said, I never get discouraged. I can have one person in the room, and I'm not going to be a fucking sad boy and fucking get depressed, you know what I mean? As long as someone wants to be able to, interact, and the hard work that I put in and the energy, it doesn't matter. Of course, my goal is to have over 100 people in the room at all times, and then 200, 300, 400, 500, but it is what it is. So let's see here. Let me go down the list. Nola. Yeah, Nola doesn't, usually if Nola's coming in, he'll come in maybe the afternoon or evening, but when it's not NFL season, he's not as likely to come in and shit talk. He only wants to shit talk, during the NFL season. But when he comes in, he's usually working on his music, working on his remixes, trying to come up with new raps and whatnot. And that's good, you know what I mean? But he'll come in here and there. But if it doesn't have anything to do with the Saints, or the Saints aren't playing, or if it's not an NFL reaction video or NFL game, he might not hop in, but sometimes he'll comment on the video after. So I imagine this might be something that he'll comment in later on. It just depends on what he's doing. I don't even know if he works. I'm not even sure if this motherfucker's got a job or not, or if he sells dope or what the fuck he does. I don't know. It just seems like sometimes he's got money, and I don't know if he's got a job. It doesn't sound like it. I think he just, is living at home. He's like 22, 23, working on his rap career, but I don't know if he's a D-boy or what's going on, but I don't know. I have no fucking idea, but hopefully it ends up, being a good thing for him, and he gets picked up by a label. He definitely is very talented, and I'm rooting for him. Just like my buddy Brooks Beats, I'm rooting for Busta Rhymes to work with him, and if we can get him on the map, and even if Busta doesn't take a beat from him, and he can pass his demo to maybe someone else like a Pharrell or an E40 or someone out there, and then all it's going to take is one beat to get sold for like 10 grand, 100 grand, and then my buddy would be set. So I'm rooting for him as well, too. Let's see here. You got two teams that actually can win. Why is there anybody else even playing? Yep, agreed. NBA trash as fuck. Seriously, NBA used to be my sauce when I was dating a 6'6" guy a very long time ago. Tess, yeah. NBA has just gone so downhill. Could you imagine if Zach Wilson fell to the Panthers? Absolutely no way. Because if you look at the pro days that all the quarterbacks had, Zach Wilson's pro day was the best out of all the QBs. So if Zach Wilson went all the way to the Panthers, that means like the Niners would pass on him, the Jets would pass on him, and I really don't see that. But if he went there, that would be the best case scenario for the Bears, the Panthers, the Broncos, or anyone, past number 4. So if like the Jets said no, Niners said no, Falcons said no, the Falcons. If the Falcons were sitting there and Zach Wilson was there, if it went like, number 1 pick Trevor Lawrence, and then they went Kyle Pitts at the Jets, and then the Niners went Mac Jones, and instead of Zach Wilson, even though that wouldn't happen, because Zach Wilson to the Niners is the best fit of all time, period. But if Zach Wilson was sitting at 4, I think that they would grab him, because then they would be like, perfect, we got Matt Ryan's replacement. They're like, we're good. You know what I mean? Then if Matt Ryan if they trade him, or once he wants to leave or retire, then they got the next Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, waiting in the wings. And Zach Wilson on the Falcons, I think, he could succeed there. I think Zach Wilson could succeed anywhere. He's the only one that I really believe in. I think he could succeed on any team. It just depends on the supporting cast and the head coach on how quickly. Obviously with Saleh and the Jets' crappy team, it'll take the longest time besides the trash dumpster fire they call the Houston Texans, should that no longer be in the fucking NFL. That's going to be like the worst spot. And the Jets are kind of towards the bottom in the Jags. But, if Saleh's there, he'll get guys that fit his mold, guys that are going to be blue-collar guys. So I know the Jets will be competing with the Dolphins and the Pats sooner than later. Maybe not as good as the Bills, but, hopefully if Zach Wilson progresses and they can be adding to Mekhi Becton on the line and adding pieces, Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, getting more players, to add to that roster, maybe the Jets could make the playoffs in 4 years. Maybe sooner. I don't know, as a wild card, but it's not going to be right away. That's facts. Damn, he had a girlfriend from Brazil that was 6'6". Jesus, Brazilian babes, 6'6". You guys are crazy. You guys be dating some tall-ass mofos. 6'6"? Jesus, I'm 6 foot, so I guess I can't complain. I prayed when I was young to be 6'5", 6'6", but yeah, that's nuts. How much does YouTube charge for marketing? Well, the thing is, if you, as far as like ads, once you hit like 1,000 subscribers or however many subscribers, then you can get the ads put on, the video. So once you get to that point, you can get monetized, right? But they don't pay dick, you know what I mean? Like once you actually get on there, then they decide what ads, like Dick's Sporting Goods, if I'm a sport channel, whatever ads they want to put on my videos that you see, I can monetize it. They can put ads every 2 minutes or whatever. I don't do that. They just put it on there on their end based on the type of ads, the ones that you can X out in, or ones that you can't skip, or ones you can skip after like a minute or two. That's something that YouTube does because they make all that money. Google, they're all making money off people like me, you know what I mean? And especially they're making money off people, depending on if they have the super chat or not, where they can get the donations. So if if you're not doing live streams, and you have to have a certain amount of subscribers to even do live streams, I think like over 1,000. So Memopolis, go Dodgers in the building. What to do? But you have to have like, I think over 1,000 subscribers to be able to do live streams. Otherwise you can't. And you have to also be able to get monetized. But yeah, I barely get any money. Even if you get big views. I mean, the only people that are getting big money, I think, is like if you get like 1 million views on a video, then you might be getting maybe like a couple $100 or something. But if you don't get like money, views like that, or depending on how many you're getting in a month, because they do it monthly, normally it's not very much money that I get from the ads or ever really got from the ads. I think it's like, very, very little. It's less than a couple $100. It's most like a 99% of my income, is from the donations. So that's why I really, appreciate the donations from people when they give me $1, $2, $5, $10, because I don't get anything really from the ads. Even if I get videos that hit 10,000 views, it's not like you're getting $100 from that. It's like, it's very, very small amount. It's like in a probably a month, even if it's during football season, probably less than $100 overall. You know what I mean? So, and even if I'm getting a shitload of views on, certain live streams and reaction videos, you're still not getting a lot. It's like $100 or less, probably under 100. So, most of the donations are really, carrying the channel. You know what I mean? So, and then on top of the donations that I get, they're taking like, 30%, 30, 35, 40%. So it's like if I make, let's say I make, let's say $200 on a show. You know what I mean? I'm not getting $200. I'm probably getting like $150, $160. So YouTube is, taking that, and then, if they're not taxing me, and then I have to pay taxes at the end of it. So not only are they taking money, because it's on their platform. I mean, I can do like Zelle, or I could do like Cash App, but people like to see their name up on the screen when it's on the chat and whatnot. And that's, YouTube knows that, you know what I mean, to be a part of the show and whatnot. So it's like if I make $200 on a live stream on a play-by-play and reactions, I might get like 150, 160, 170. They're taking like, 30, 35, 40%. I mean, that's not fair. I mean, if anything, they should be taking like 20%. I mean, if they're donating to me based off what I'm doing with the, the look, the green screen, the time that I'm putting in, the words that I'm coming out of my mouth, right? And doing the game, calling the play-by-play. It's like, bro, it's like we're using your platform, but you're already making lots of money off so many people, that aren't, getting paid on YouTube. They're like, you're putting ads on their videos, and they can't monetize it. And because like when we first started off, we couldn't do live streams. We were doing, videos, and they were pushing those because they knew they weren't having to pay us. And then they could put all their ads on videos that were getting like 20,000 views. And then they're making more money off that. And those companies are making money off that. And we're making dick. So like the first couple years, I didn't make anything. I didn't make anything on YouTube. And we were getting all these views, 20,000 views on this video, 10,000. And they did that on purpose because they knew, they can put all these ads on there and I'm getting nothing. So then once I decided to do the live stream, that was my idea to start doing that. So that way I can, go through the process, and maybe I can do like a membership thing once we get bigger. Once we hit like maybe 25 or 30,000 subscribers, maybe I can do certain things where you can have certain emojis like Pat McAfee show, and you can have like a membership thing, but I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? I'm not there yet to do that, but obviously the donations really help. That's 99% of my income, is with the donations. So sometimes when I do like a reaction video, there's no donations there. Anything that I do that has highlights, there's no money involved. It's just the love of the game and the love of the fans, to do it for them. So it's like I'm putting in the time and the effort, for that. And then I can get donations when I do shows like this. I can do donations when I do a game, a live stream play-by-play. So that's really, all the hard work that I put in with the reaction videos and the other content. Sometimes people can throw a donation on a show like this or the live streams. But yeah, 99% of the income is straight. It's straight here. I had a Patreon before, but no one donated. You know what I mean? So I had Patreon. I have a Cash App. You know what I mean? But like, Odin's Child, he'll donate. Like he donated last week to me and saved me. Donated like $200-300. You know what I mean? And sometimes people can donate, some people can't. But even if you donate $1, it really does help. You know what I mean? But it all depends if you ever can afford it, if I'm worth it. It's one thing to sub to the channel. It's to smash the like button, to share it on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, or whatever, and then donating is kind of like the last step of fandom. But, anything helps. You know what I mean? And obviously of me working hard, the donations are huge. So any kind of donations I can get, because I'm not getting anything really from the ad size now. Maybe down the road I'll be able to get $100-200 a month, or more, 300, 400 maybe when we get bigger. But it is what it is. Calvin Griffin, 6'2". Hey, we're brothers from another mother, my guy. Memopolis in the building. Go Dodgers. What it do? Tough loss for the Dodgers, absolutely. Memopolis, it's all good, man. Appreciate that you're here. I don't know if you've subbed to the channel yet. I hope you have. And if you haven't, please do. Like I said, because every sub counts. And like I said, I'm always going to be here covering the Dodgers, covering NFL, college football, and wrestling. And we love to have a newbie part of the crew. And like I said, I appreciate every single fan, regardless if it's Dodgers, wrestling, NBA, even though I don't like NBA, NFL. I appreciate that. Thank you, Memopolis. He subbed. Appreciate you, my guy. Yeah, YouTube is robbing. Big facts. 5'6" 3/4. No pro basketball for me. Did you see that girl on UConn, though? That the Page girl? She's fire. Like, out of all the athletes that I've seen, like Lisa Leslie and all these females, I don't follow WNBA at all, but that Page girl, the fire freshman, she's something else. She's going to be like the next WNBA superstar. Like I said, that might be something where like I don't really watch NBA or anything like that. And Sabrina Ionescu from Oregon obviously went very high in the draft, and she's awesome. And she's on, I think, the New York Liberty, something like that. So Oregon has been pumping out some talent, but that girl, she is special. And I think UConn's going to win the championship. As we go into this, WNBA draft in the waiting in the wings, but as we got the Final Four, the championship for the women's and men's, I got UConn and more than likely Gonzaga winning it all. So, but Patreon doesn't work for me. Zelle, Cash App, very rarely. Normally the donations are straight on the channel, and I don't mind, but it just sucks if they're taking 35-40%. So it's like if I make $5,000 in a year, that probably meant I made like 10 grand, but I'm only seeing half of it, and they're taxing me on it at the end of the year. So it's like they're robbing me twice. It's like they're taxing me on it, and they're taking like half. It's like, fucking A, man, way to make someone work fucking extra hard, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to make a living. So that's why I'm really counting on the subs and the likes, and the people that donate and the people that interact. So that way, hopefully I can get into the algorithm and the metrics and the analytics where they can share my shit as recommendations. Because the more that I get on the views and the more that I get on the likes and the more that I get in the donations and the more participation I get, then maybe I can get more recommendations for my videos on other people's YouTube on their phones and computers. And that's how I'll grow, right? But if, it all depends on the fans. So I'm going to keep working hard for you guys, and I appreciate you guys. He said I subbed and I turn on all notifications. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. And you'll get to know a lot of the mods. Memopolis. Memopolis is a big Dodger fan like your boy and my dad. And we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. Is Cook good? I mean, I've seen a few. Yeah, and I already hit 20K, so it's really sad, you know what I mean? And you get these fickle people that'll give you your sub, take it away. So I was already at 20K, and I hit 20,000, like 25. And then, people took their subs away, or they were just doing it to see if they could get like a jersey or get a hoodie from me or whatever, and they took it away, maybe just subbing and then unsubbing, that's fine. Or maybe some old subs that don't want to sub to me anymore, and, they just care about other channels. I mean, everyone's got their preferences, so I just need to make up like about 100 subs. It is what it is. But I know once I get over the 20,000 mark, and during NFL season when I'm at like 21, even if some people take it away, I'll still be over 20. And once you hit that number and you're well over, then I'll be able to grow, because a lot of people, they'll see that rounded off number, 20K. It just looks good. So, I mean, I've already hit it last year on the Ravens and the Steelers. I was already at 20,000, 25. Now I got to make up like 101 subs or something like that. And that is... It is what it is. So I'm not discouraged, you know what I mean? And if the numbers go backwards, it is kind of weird, though. It's like I'm working hard, I'm putting in all my love, my passion, my energy, and then seeing your sub count go backwards. It's like, I know I got a good product. I know I bring the energy. I know I'm real. I say what's on my mind. I go through my personal problems, with like addiction and depression. And so it's like, I know I got a good product and something unique, and I got a rabid fan base that rides or dies for me. I'm going to be growing. I'm showing my range, doing other things like NBA or college basketball or wrestling, AEW, WWE, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and now MLB. It may be just some of these old subs that are taking it away, or maybe kids or trolls or whatever it is. But when I'm looking at my phone and I'm seeing my sub count go backwards, it's definitely... hurts a little bit. But like I said, I don't let it affect me like it does for other people on social media if they get low sub count or they're not growing, or they're getting minimal views. I like just to put my head down and grind. But I do pay attention to everyone's comments. I do pay attention, to the numbers. And like I said, I know as long as I believe in myself, I work hard, and I got fans like you guys that I love interacting with every day. It makes it all worth it. You know what I mean? That Michael Jordan rookie card, I still wish I had it, but if I could have 20,000 subscribers or the $20,000 rookie card, I can get another one of those down the road once I get established. But getting 20,000 subscribers on YouTube nowadays, especially when they change their metrics and their analytics, they're making it harder and harder the last 2 years for people to break out, because now you see people on TikTok and you see people on Twitter and Instagram and these different podcasts. Everyone it seems like is trying to get in a piece of the pie, and there's so many people with YouTube channels, whether they're prepared or not prepared, thinking they're just going to be an overnight success, like on TikTok. Like, oh boy, that was riding the skateboard, drinking the cranberry. Everyone thinks that they're trying to copycat people, and then they're just going to become the next big thing, the next Kim Kardashian, the next Kanye, the next the next guy, oh boy, 420, on the skateboard, drinking the cranberry juice, and getting all these promotions and whatnot. I mean, you just got to work hard, and you got to put in the grind. But there's a lot of people, I feel, that are doing social media things that aren't prepared, and they're flooding the content on YouTube. Google and YouTube are making money off everyone, right? But then obviously it kind of hurts channels like mine. I think that I'm pretty established, but I'm not really getting the love just yet of a channel that's 20,000 subscribers. I feel like, there's a lot of other channels that are getting a bigger push than me, and I think that, they should be pushing me a little bit more just based on the hard work, what the improvements I've made to the channel since day one to now, the product that you're getting, you know what I mean? But like I said, it'll all come in time. I'm never going to quit. And like I said, the best part about it is you guys motivate me because, like I said, with all the time I spend reading, writing, going over film study, researching, and doing all that, when I can come out here and hang out, and like I said, it just makes it all worth it. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL and MLB or anything else that you want. WrestleMania right around the corner. It's your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash the fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF or the GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, which I'm going to pin in the chat right now, brand new hoodie. I readjusted it. I ended up making the NWSF logo with the NWSF on the hoodie bigger to make it look nicer, and I reduced the price. So instead of it being like $50, for a hoodie, it's only $34.99. So I think they go up to double XL. So if you can afford it, right there, NWSF, it's black, white letters, kind of like NWO, because I had that kind of inspiration there, white drawstring. They're very comfortable. So if you can afford a hoodie, click on the links underneath. And like I said, it's not like I'm making a whole lot off of them. I'm making like $5. Off of them. But the more likely is, like, I don't even care if I make any profit off of it. I just want to get the hoodies out there. And like I said, if you live on the East Coast or the West Coast in the USA or somewhere else, it gives an opportunity that, that you can represent the NWSF. So Zini Panini ended up winning the Fantasy Football League, and she got her hoodie sent out. She loves it. I got my boy out here, Tommy. I got to deliver his. So they sell pretty good. And like I said, they're cheap. $34.99. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, most hoodies nowadays cost $40, $50, $60, $70, depending on what brand you're getting. So if you can represent your boy, that definitely helps. And then any type of extra profit I get from it, like $5 per hoodie, I can use that to pay my taxes or just fucking survive and pay my rent, because I don't really need a whole lot to survive. I mean, I need like 500 something for my rent, for my share. I got to pay my cell phone. That's like 100. Pay my credit card. That's like 100. I don't need a whole lot of money. I need probably, I don't know, $1,000 a month, probably less. I don't really need a whole lot. And, obviously if I change my eating habits and, stop really, trying to party and drugs and drinking and really trying to be, cross my T's, dot my I's and change my lifestyle. I don't really need a whole lot of money. I'm really committed to the grind and the dream. But so anytime that if you guys could purchase one, it would mean a lot. And like I said, usually I'll get people that'll buy them and they'll send me a pic on Instagram or like a message or whatever. So, but I did reduce the price on them this year to make them more affordable for the fans. And $35 ain't nothing. You know what I mean? So if you guys can do that, that'd be great. Let's see here. He said this Discord and looking over some scouting reports. Hey, you got to. I'm adulting. I'm trying to. You know what I mean? Especially having depression, having issues with like addiction and whatnot, and and it's never been my addiction stuff. It's never been like heroin or meth or anything like that. So let's take that out of the equation. So, anyone that hears, anyone that has addiction problems, I like that. And sometimes people think it's like oxys or stuff like that. And I never did that either. So it's never anything on the hard side, but obviously, when you're drinking and thing like that, you got to be able to get your, cross your T's, dot your I's. And I'm trying to get things going, but depression is tough, and sometimes it hits me hard. But like I said, with this channel and who I am, and being able to get some sun, being able to see my friends, and my dad finally got his shot. Same thing, depression. I'm gonna get diabetes probably here. My dad's got it. My dad's mom died from it. So I need to lose weight. So now I'm walking with my girlfriend, running, jogging, trying to do about an hour and a half a day. Trying to lose 30 pounds by July 4th. That's the goal. I'm a fat ass. I love pizza, I love tacos, I love pasta, I love burgers. I mean, anything that you could think of that's bad for you, I like it. You know what I mean? Which is not good, right? So if oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate that so much, man. Yeah, just put your information in there. Click on the link. I think it goes up to 2XL or 3XL. I promise you, they're from Teespring, so they're comfortable. Any person that's ever bought one is like, wow, this is a lot more comfortable. And it's not just like a generic like Hanes hoodie or generic Champion hoodie or whatever hoodies that, you see, Kirkland brand from like Costco. The Teespring actually makes a good hoodie. They're very, very comfortable. That's one thing that I've really noticed, that from the brand, it's not like scratchy or it doesn't fit good. It fits good. It looks good. It's got the white drawstrings that I love, to have that, to make that kind of adjustment instead of black on black. I wanted the white drawstrings to stand out. And then the NWSF pops right there on the chest, and it looks good. So I appreciate that, man. Old one, and the new one, like I said, when you wear it, you'll see the letters should be a little bit bigger, because I wanted the letters to pop a little bit more, so it'll be a little bit bigger on there. But I appreciate that, and like I said, they've sold pretty good, but we could definitely do better on them. So hopefully we can get the fans to push them, and I can push them a little bit. And it's not about making money; it's just getting out there, the name brand, so and representing me and representing the channel. But yeah, I'm eating less, so we're doing salads, eggs, avocado, toast, just very light foods. I'm trying to cut out soda and beers and stuff and liquor out of the equation for the most part too. Eating rice and eating salad and eating like fish or steak or chicken, or pork chops, just something kind of light, but just eating a very minimal amount, not stuffing myself, really trying to lose weight. But we're both trying to lose about 30 pounds, me and my girlfriend, and it's not like we're complete fat asses out there, but I mean, I'm definitely overweight. I definitely, let my body go. But now, since I'm starting to walk and getting the sun, I feel great. I feel I've turned the page. I need to find some other side work besides YouTube now, but I'm okay with that. Everything happens for a reason. So even though that depression hit me, it was a blessing, because now me and my girlfriend can work together on losing weight. We've changed our eating habits together. We're getting juicers and different bullet things to be able to make smoothies and different things, which I have actually right here, that she made with different like fruit smoothies, and she brought that in the room. So I'm able to maybe do energy, like power bar type things, walk, not eat as much, drink a lot of water, trying to really get my body in better shape for July 4th in the summer, so I don't look like a fucking beach whale if I ever go to the beach, so I can look in the mirror and not fucking run into it or run away from it. You know what I mean? So it feels good that I'm mentally feeling better. So you'll probably see my skin get tanner and thinner as we're getting into summertime. So I'm excited for just to be able to be healthier and eating better and watching the carbs and what I'm eating, even though I love that food and my girlfriend does too, but we're doing it together, which is exciting, because it gives you someone to hold you accountable and keep doing the walks and things together too. Being able to go outside and getting the sun, I didn't have that before. So I'm really getting that vitamin D and, the vitamin C and whatever vitamins that are out there, A, B, C, D, E, F. I don't know what the fuck they are. All right, but I'm getting those. And my dad finally got the COVID shot, so now I'm able to visit him. So I haven't seen him in really hang out with him in like a year. And I normally do Easter with him. I do Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of all time, with him. Christmas with him, with a feast. And I had to skip all that. And that mentally fucked me up, not being able to really see like my dad and to be able to spend time with him. But we are going to go for Easter this Sunday for the first time to be able to hang out. But it sucks because now I'm on a diet. So now I'm going to have like ham and turkey and fucking rolls and fucking stuffing and deviled eggs and all kinds of fucking shit candy, and I can't even really eat it. I mean, I'll eat a little bit, but I don't want to get back to bad habits. So maybe I can splurge a little bit for this Easter, and they want to give me leftovers, but I kind of changed my mindset to be more positive and to be more engaging and hold myself accountable to the food and the exercise, even though when I don't feel like maybe moving, but I'm doing it. So I know I'm going to be able to lose the weight. I know I'm going to be able to not be depressed. I know I'm going to be able to be healthier. And on top of that, I'm going to get to see my dad. So if I get to go to my house, my dad's house, and watch Dodger games with him, and be able to hang out, that's good for my mental health too, because I don't really get to see my friends. A lot of my friends are stupid, and they're still partying, doing drugs, drinking, playing beer pong fucking every couple days or on the weekends, acting like fucking COVID didn't even exist. And it's kind of scary. I don't want them to get sick or get me sick. So I haven't really got to see a lot of my friends, and that's kind of fucked me up, because I'm a kind of social person, and I like to be able to interact and party and hang out. But I guess if you're not doing drugs, or you're not drinking or smoking weed or doing a bunch of stuff, it's probably good for you. So, obviously I like to party with the best of them, but, at this point, I think, taking a step back and just trying to grind on the channel with MLB coming in the draft and wrestling and just trying to stay focused, maybe that'll be something that a little bit better for me, moving forward. So I put myself in a better position, moving forward. So if you are going through some tough times, like I said, it's all about interacting, checking up on people on Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure you're reaching out to friends and intermediate, family and friends, and making sure they're okay. Because like I said, a lot of us are not okay. But I definitely have turned the corner. So even though I have to find another job, based off that episode that I had, I'm still doing the YouTube, and I can find work. Right, immediately. I can pass a drug test today. There's no drugs, there's no Molly or cocaine or weed or beer or liquor or anything, no pills. There's nothing in my system, so I'm good, which is good. And like I said, I can go pass a PP test today if I need to, but I'm gonna probably wait till after Easter and go into the temp agency on Monday and try to start work, for get some extra income coming in. So I'm trying to do it the right way. And I know a lot of people don't really like to talk, about, the real shit that's going on. But, I'm a real one. And I don't think there's a lot of real ones that are on social media. There's a lot of fucking fake people. And it's kind of sad where people enjoy the fakeness of people. And then someone says the truth and they can't handle it or they don't like it. But I appreciate that, man. I'm grinding. Let's see here. My friend going to probably snatch those one like she did the other one. Yeah, right. Yeah, make sure you watch out for the males and females that you hang out with. They might try to steal the NWSF hoodie, but the new one that I did, the letters are bigger on it. And it's the same one. I just adjusted the font on it to make it look a little bit nicer, a little bit bigger. I still like the old style, don't get me wrong, but like I said, I like this big one too. So. And like I said, I need to actually get some for myself because the old one that I had, the drawstring, came out in the dryer. So I need to kind of get like a clothes hanger and put it back in. But I just want to get a brand new one so it's fresh from the one that I got. So I got to order one for myself here pretty soon. But I got all these fucking taxes I got to goddamn pay. So got to do that before I start splurging on new shoes or walking shoes, some Air Max Vapors, or I can't splurge on anything for myself. No video games or anything like that. I got to buckle down and be responsible. Adulting, it's one of those things you got to do. So, but I'm excited that you guys are in the building grinding with me, and I appreciate you guys very much. Tess is like 134. Weight ain't the problem. Diabetes runs hard on my dad's side. Me too. And that's what's scary. Like I said, it's like I need to make the changes. And even if I get down to like 175, 180, instead of being like 200 to 250 in that range, if I'm 200 to 250 and I go down to even like 175, 180, 190, I'll probably still get it. So it's a little scary for me. But, if I can take advantage now before I hit 40, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to do anything and everything I can, to be as positive as I can too. So intermittent fasting and whatnot, frequently on quality food throughout the day, no big meals. And I'm trying to take fast food out of the diet. I mean, it's one thing once in a while, you know what I mean? Like once a week, maybe, like, but I'm getting to the point where it's like, cheeseburgers and pizzas and this other stuff maybe doesn't really sound as good as it was. And a lot of times I was just like, I was eating because I was bored. Like my girlfriend, like we'd be watching like Netflix, or we'd be watching like The Flash, watching like Law and Order, watching a lot of different shows, that were on there. Superstore was a great show that just ended. That was kind of like a Walmart kind of sitcom, where they did Cloud 9, where it would be like, a bunch of comedians, and how it's like to work there. I like watching shit like that, and we would just snack on popcorn and, cheeseburgers and just, whatever I was feeling, pasta, Panda Express, like whatever. And then that's how you get fat. You're not exercising. You got like office job, or you're working from home, and then you get tired, and then you're on your phone playing games or reading or whatever. It was just a horrible recipe for failure, on my end. And we just love eating food in general, me and my girlfriend. So it's just like, Jesus, we're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and not do anything about it. But now it's like, I'm trying to change that mindset, and it feels really, really good to be able to be mentally like healthy. Like I feel good. Like I feel like best I've had. I know I'm going to be able to lose the 20, 30 pounds going into July 4th. And once I get there, I'm going to keep it up. And then, cut back on the partying and the drugs and the drinking and everything, and just try to focus on me and try to focus on my friends and my family and keep myself busy. And like I said, I know 20K will come, and then I'll go to 25 and 30. And as long as I work hard, I know I'm going to have the support of people like you guys, and that's going to keep me moving. How you doing? Keep it moving. So said you're a real one. Appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. So I wish taxes weren't a thing, but there's nothing we can do. No kidding. Fast boost testosterone. Man. Increase your muscle mass. I don't mean become the Hulk. I could never become the Hulk even if I wanted to. I mean, I barely could probably bench press or fucking squat anything at this point. But yeah, Yeah, I need to do that too, though, at some point. But also, too, I don't feel safe going to the gym. We have gym membership, but with COVID still going on, I do not trust these places wiping shit down and with a bunch of nasties out there that are going to the gym. You know, who knows if these guys are, you know, washing their hands or not. Like, I just don't trust a gym. So for the time being, you know, I'm going to just walk and run and jog, you know, in my neighborhood. And as long as I do that, you know, 20 minutes to an hour, hour and a half every day, I know that I'll be able to lose the weight because I'm not stuffing myself every day. I'm eating healthier and I'm walking or jogging or running. Hopefully I can jog and run at some point. I think it took me like a month last fall to be able to run. Like, I just wasn't in shape enough to run without sounding like a fucking beached whale. Like, we went to the beach last weekend, and we were climbing up one of the dunes, right? And I literally was sounding like some kind of fucking dinosaur or beached whale. My girlfriend will tell you. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, I was breathing so fucking hard that once we got to the top of the dune at the Pacific Ocean, looking over the ocean, and there was like a 100-foot drop. I'm afraid of heights, so I'm like hyperventilating, thinking I'm gonna fall off and die on the edge, right? Because I don't want to get too close. And then I'm breathing hard like a fucking, you know, some kind of beached whale, some kind of walrus dinosaur hybrid. You know what I mean? So I know that, you know, when I'm breathing like that, it's definitely time to make changes. I don't want to be like that. So it'll probably take me a month of, you know, going before I feel comfortable where I could jog or run for 15 minutes straight. And then I can walk 15, run 15 or something like that. But once I get there, then, you know, I'll be getting better. And then I can always get, you know, some little weights or something at the house. But, so I go to the gym and I'm a nasty natty. Are you a nasty? Are you one of those nasty nasties that are going out there to the? I mean, not everyone's nasty at the gym, but I mean, I don't know. I just think with COVID going on and it might not be over till 2020. I don't know if I just trust the gyms just yet. You know what I mean? There's just too many people in there, too close. They can spray down their machines all they want, but it's like I guess if my shoes are touching, you know, like the machines, and I'm like, and I'm stepping on the machine or cycling. That's one thing, but I don't want my hands touching anything, you know, on there. So push-ups, sit-ups, dips, pull-ups, pretty quick. Gain 15 pounds of muscle. Oh, man, good for you, man. That's awesome, bro. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in good enough shape to be able to do anything too crazy. I mean, I could probably do a certain amount of push-ups, not very many though. You know, I could do sit-ups all day long. I could end up starting doing 100 or 200 a day, something like that. High-intensity interval training. You don't need to jog. Yeah. So, but even if I'm walking and doing certain things, you know. But yeah, any advice that you guys have with diets, you know, anything that you guys are eating or working out to keep your body healthy, but definitely have not treated myself the right way, and I need to change, and I need to change now. So no one's wearing masks. Oh, bro, you one of those nasty natties. Like Natty on WWE. You one of those nasty natties. Come on, man. You can't be. No one wearing masks at the gym? We're fucked. Don't go to the same gym as Troll Patrol. Message from an eagle. You go there, you're getting COVID. No masks at all? Everyone just coughing on their hands, scratching their butts, grabbing the machines and everything with their hands, touching all the buttons so they can change a TV station when they're doing their workouts. Yuck, bro. Yeah. Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL. Let's talk MLB. Let's talk nasty natties at the gym. Let's talk about losing weight. Let's talk about taxes fucking blow and your boy's broke. Let's talk about the NWSF hoodies. Let's talk about anything that you want. I appreciate you guys very, very much. You guys always keep my life very interesting. And like I said, I've tried to put it on the grind. Like I said, while I have the time, you know, I'm getting to a point where I'm going to be working in the mornings, probably starting next week or the week after. But in the meantime, as long as I have the ability to hop on and hang out, you know, we can talk about anything and everything. And it's good for my mental and maybe good for your guys' mental too. But I haven't got COVID. My girlfriend's not got COVID. We've been in a good headspace for the most part besides those 3 weeks. But it all really started. And I haven't really told this story to too many people. It all really started last year, the year before, when my mom went missing. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard this story, but my mom's 100% Japanese, 5 foot tall. My dad's 6 foot, you know, kind of European, you know, Czechoslovakian, you know, European. He's 6 foot. He looks like Santa Claus. So they got a divorce when I was like 13. My mom, you know, is very private, hasn't got remarried, hasn't redated or anything, pretty lonely, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, the neighbors, see the trash, not being collected, and the leaves are piling up on the driveway, which she normally sweeps up, and all of a sudden, like, I get a call from the police, and she's gone. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck? Did she get kidnapped? Where did she go? Like, did she go back to Japan, or like, what happened, right? And she was gone for like 6 months, right? And doesn't have a cell phone, only had a home phone, had no social media, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, did she die? Did she get kidnapped? Did she go back to Japan? And like, you know what I mean? And she like, I don't know, me and my dad were like, what the hell? You know what I mean? The cops broke into the house. The car was still in there, but she wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. And that kind of fucked me up because I was like, oh my God, like where am I ever going to see my mom again? So that kind of hit me at a depression. Then COVID hit after that. And then, then in the Christmas time after that, for a couple weeks I had it. And then as of a couple weeks ago, last month, it was 3 weeks, but that's kind of where it started. You know what I mean? But then she eventually came back, and I told her, I was like, you cannot leave the country for like 3 to 6 months, right? And not tell me or not tell anyone. Like, it's like, if you don't want to tell my dad because you guys are divorced now or whatever, that's fine. But at least tell me, because, I mean, it was around the time where it was like late summer, early fall, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we got, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and you're just like, you just dipped, you know what I mean? And you didn't, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't tell anyone. And that's where I told her, I was like, you need to be able to, I know you're Stone Age and you don't know how to use technology, but I was like, that was not fucking okay. Like, I mean, you're your own woman and you can do whatever you want. But like when the police are calling me, telling me that maybe you've been kidnapped or maybe you're dead and you're missing, and then the neighbors are worried about you, and even though you're private, and then, it definitely fucked me up. And that's kind of where it started, I think. And then COVID hit, and then, not seeing friends and family, and, that's where it started. So I haven't told that story to too many people, but that's kind of what happened to me. You know what I mean? And she was in Japan. She just dipped, went to Japan, tried to hang out with some of the family out there. You know what I mean? And then the police had to do some kind of investigation, and then got a hold of her, like some kind of crime unit, and found her in Japan. And then she called me, from Japan, and like left a fucking message, but had like no remorse of like leaving or telling me that she was gone. Like, didn't even like think that it was wrong. So that was kind of a fucked up thing where she didn't even apologize for leaving. So I was like, okay, great. That makes me feel good, so I don't know. But things, I've always been closer to my dad than my mom anyways and stuff. So, but like I said, I try to have the best relationship, that I can have with my mom and my dad though. So Tess says, sweating, the juice is all over the place. But that's kind of the story. Juice is flowing everywhere. So my dad won the heavyweight part of the competition in 2028, I think it was. So is your dad from the future? He got the DeLorean? 2028, Memopolis is from the future with his dad. Yeah, they'd be doing some time travel and shit. I mean, time travel, that shit is real. All right? Go on the internet. There are a lot of Bigfoot videos and all kinds of futuristic shit, what the future's going to be like. He got the DeLorean, he said. Shit. Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL and MLB with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash the fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or the GoFundMe. Or if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on the YouTube page. Follow me, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. Poirier signs deal for McGregor trilogy, so I guess we're going to get another McGregor fight. I'm just looking on here. Kansas announces lifetime contract for Self. Mets Nats postponed. Fourth player positive for COVID. Probably went to that nasty, natty gym that Troll Patrol message from the Eagle is at. So they got the COVID there for the Mets and Nats. So it sounds like those players went to Troll Patrol's gym since they don't wear masks there and they don't wash their hands or do anything sanitary. Roy Williams obviously decided to walk away, so we know about that. South Carolina, Stanford for the women's Final Four, Arizona and UConn. So we'll have to see on what happens there. And then we got the men's that will be coming up. Anything else? I'm on Twitter now to take a quick peek. He said, did the doc come with him? Let's see here. Jericho on the Stone Cold Broken Skull podcast. I'm going to watch that later. Let's see here. Got some MLB action. Major League Baseball announces it will be moving the All-Star game from Atlanta in response to the new voting laws passed by Georgia. So what does that mean for you, Calvin Griffin? No All-Star game? Were you planning on going? They need to move that shit to Seattle so I can go. Let's see here. Talking about Derrick Henry stiff-arming people to planet Pluto. Jalen Hurts will wear number 1 this season. The quarterback wore number 2. 4 weeks away from the draft. Some guy eating a fucking donut the size of my head. Saints. Let me retweet this. Let's see what here. 2021 opponents the Saints got at home. The Bills. Rough. That's tough. Buccaneers. Cowboys. Dolphins. Falcons. Giants. Packers. Panthers. Wow, that's a lot of possible division winners the Saints got to play. Especially if the Packers are at the top, the Giants are at the top, Tampa's at the top, and the Bills are at the top. And the Dolphins might make the playoffs. That's at home, though. Away, Buccaneers, Eagles, Falcons, Washington football team who could win the division, the Jets, Panthers, Patriots, Seahawks with Dangerous, and Titans. That's a pretty tough schedule. I just retweeted that on the Twitter there. But definitely the matchup that we'd be looking forward to the most, like O. Henry said, who sometimes comes in the chat. He's Tampa. I want to take them down, the top dogs. And obviously you swept me last year, but I got the ultimate revenge in the playoffs, as we remember. And then we took it all the way to the house. Not to bring up salt in the wound for any of the Saints fans in the building. Best defensive player in the 2021 draft. Is it Micah Parsons? Is it someone else? Is it Patrick Surtain the second? I mean, there's going to be some pretty good ones. Some baseball coverage. I'm looking to see. Tyler Lockett gets his new deal. Fantasy football landing spots for Justin Fields. Number 1, Broncos. Number 2, Panthers. Number 3, Niners. Number 4, Dolphins. Number 5, Falcons. Yeah, I'm Tampa Bay, baby. That's my team, man. I'm hoping we do big things again. But, I mean, I'm satisfied. I already won a Super Bowl. Derek Carr says Damian Lillard should be the MVP. Don't get at me. Lillard has been fantastic. Moving the All-Star game, Rob Manfred. So it looks like that's really the main breaking news that just broke. But other than that, not really a whole lot. Tampa Bay, I mean, yeah, but it's not going to last forever. I mean, when I won Super Bowl 37, with John Gruden, found a way to be able to get it, last year, but I mean, who knows what the future holds. But I'm just excited that we're relevant. And then after Tom Brady leaves, I hope we keep the culture going, and I can get like a Ryan Tannehill kind of player. So it might not be, a Tom Brady, but if I can get like a Ryan Tannehill or better type of talent, that's going to keep the ship moving. And at least that way I can be competitive, and that's all I've ever wanted. Tampa Bay Gronkaneers, hey. Dream come true, man. Especially me being not a bandwagon, Bucks fan and being like an OG, since the 90s. A lot of bandwagon Tom Brady's, a lot of bandwagon Buccaneer fans hopping on the wagon now. But, as you guys know, I've been on YouTube now. This is going to be year 5. I've been doing the shit, overall for 9 years now, with the grind. Nathan Dotson in the building. What to do, man? How are you? Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL. Let's talk MLB. Your boy's been grinding almost 3 hours already. Potential Bengals offense. We were talking earlier about Burrow, Mixon, possibly Kyle Pitts at 5 instead of Penei Sewell, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, which would be sexy as hell because T. Higgins and Burrow already have a connection, but Pitts could be, the top. Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller. That could be the top 5. And that's big facts. How are you, Nathan? What to do, my guy? He said, sup, oh, Rizzle, my dude. When Tom said, Bruce, just let me be effing coach, that's when they started winning big. Well, also, too, when they, got comfortable with the offense, guys were getting healthier because we saw Evans and Godwin get kind of banged up. But when they went in that easy stretch in December, when I told you guys they would go 4-0, and they did, starting with the Lions and beating the brakes off of them, I was like, all right, we're going to be able to get some continuity and chemistry beating the brakes off those shitty teams. So it was kind of nice to be able to have that soft schedule in December to give them the momentum. And then, obviously, we know what happened after that with the Washington football team, the Saints, the Packers, and then the Chiefs. So, yeah, definitely excited to see what the future holds. Don't know if we're going to win another one in the Tom Brady era, but to be honest, if he stays for 2 more years and he can stay at a decent high level, I wouldn't be shocked if we win another one. Just based on if we can keep everyone healthy, we're bringing everybody back. I mean, the best chance to go back-to-back or win another one is obviously this year. I mean, the following year, who knows who's going to be there. But, if you're returning everyone besides AB wants $4 to $8 million, right? And we're offering him like the same as last year, like 2. So I don't know if anyone else wants him. And if Russell Wilson wants in Seattle, he ain't going to put up the same kind of stats But, I mean, maybe he could. I mean, if Russell Wilson's throwing to him and he's more of an option with DK, number 1, Tyler get to the door, and Lockett, number 2, AB, number 3, I guess that could be pretty sexy and it could be pretty big. He might actually have bigger numbers in Seattle if Russell Wilson gives him the football. But I want him back in Tampa Bay. I want him back, but I don't want to overpay. And if he's not willing to take a pay cut, I got Scotty Miller and I got Tyler Johnson waiting. And those guys are more than serviceable of doing something similar than what AB did in the Super Bowl in his run. But I still like AB and I want AB there. And that's facts. Let's see here. The Dolphins are going to be a top AFC team this upcoming season. It should be pretty good, but it all depends on Tua's development. And in the next 3 years, they have a chance to win the division and be one of the best teams in the AFC. They have so many first-round draft picks, second round, third round, this year, next year, the year after, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. It's scary. They have the best draft capital out of any team. So as long as they draft correctly, they'll be able to be a divisional winner or a wild card for many, many years, just depending on if Tua's the guy or if they move on from him. Just imagine if they had Herbert, though, and then they had all these draft picks on top of that. Then we're talking about AFC championship game sooner than later if he was there. So they definitely fucked up with that one. They should have went Herbert instead of Tua, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Kyle Trask is pretty good. He'll be, I don't know what round he'll go. 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll see where he goes, but there might be some potential there. Obviously, I think Pitts kind of made him, kind of like Johnny Manziel and Mike Evans, where we thought, oh, maybe Johnny Football made Mike Evans. No. Mike Evans made Johnny Football, even though Johnny Football was great. But I kind of feel the same way with Kyle Trask, that he's good, right? But I think Kyle Pitts kind of made him look better than he was, just based on the freakish athlete and all the grabs and all the athleticism and hands and route running that Kyle Pitts had. Not knocking Kyle Trask. I think that he could be good, but I don't know how good he's going to be. Definitely he's not in the same window as the top 5 guys with Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. Let's see here. Vente Mocha Latte. Let him know. Let him know, Tess. Plenty of wide receiver talent in the coming draft. That's probably the deepest position in the draft. Wide receiver is definitely one of the deepest for sure. The Chiefs are right on their heels, so as far as the repeat, we'll see what happens. Yeah. But obviously, they got 3 offensive linemen that are no longer on the team. Mitchell Schwartz is gone, right? Eric Fisher's gone. You did bring in Kyle Long out of a retirement from the Bears, and that's nice, right? But if you can't, right, protect Mahomes, you know what I mean? You still got Bieniemy there, so the Chiefs have got to be the favored team on paper, and Bills are getting closer, but the Chiefs have got to be the favored team on paper. Bucks and Rams, at least at this point, and have to be the favored teams on paper, but we got to wait and see. But I don't know if we're going to get a rematch of the Bucks and Chiefs again, but if we do, I don't know if we're going to be the underdog again. We'll probably be the favored team, and like I said, I like my defense better than the Chiefs, and I think defense wins championships, and every time the Bucks go to the Super Bowl, we blow the other team out. So blew out the Raiders, blew out the Chiefs, held them to no fucking touchdown passes, which is still incredible. You know what I mean? Think about that. They have Patrick fucking Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback arguably in the league, right? Might be Hall of Fame, first ballot, all these records, all these numbers, right? Might end up having numerous Super Bowls under the belt, and he didn't even get one. Even one. One officer dead, one hospitalized after man rams car in the U.S. Capitol. Uh-oh. Suspect fatally shot. Damn it. Crazy stuff happening around the world. You never know what's going to be happening. Nice update there, Tess. Kyle Pitts has the wingspan never seen in 2 decades. I know, I saw that. Herbert is better than Russell Wilson to me. I don't know if I would go that far. Not yet, but he's getting there. You know what I mean? Like I said, right now you got Patrick Mahomes, right? Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Those are the kind of the main 3. I think Justin Herbert, and then you got Deshaun Watson. I think you could say Justin Herbert, if you say he's the 5th best quarterback in this league, get at me. Come at me. I mean, he's somewhere between 5 and 10. I mean, and he's going to keep climbing. So if you want to put him at 10 and wait for him to do it again, 10 to 9 to 8. I think that he can join those guys. I mean, he proved he can play under pressure. He's smart, right? And I think as soon as the team gets better with weapons at tight end to replace Hunter Henry, another wide receiver to complement, Keenan Allen, another guy to, add to Austin Eckler. Hopefully Derwin James sometime in this fucking decade can stay on the fucking football field. And if they can, replace Melvin Ingram and Casey Hayward at corner, they're getting closer, and that's cool to be able to see. I hope Joe Burrow and I hope Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. I hope all these guys turn into top 10 quarterbacks. It would be good for our league because you got guys like Phillip Rivers on the way right? He's right? Drew Brees is right? And then obviously we're going to have Big Ben out soon and Tom Brady and a few others. So Eli's already gone. So a lot of the guys that have been playing for a long time are gone, but the new breed, the new generation, that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for the new generation. Got the fruit smoothie here. See what this tastes like. Oh, this thing's monster thick. I can't even drink it. I'm going to have to scoop it out with like a spoon. I had to scoop it there with my finger a little bit to mix it up. Pitts is looking like a generational talent. So I don't like Mahomes. Mahomes is great, though. I mean, that's one thing you'll notice. Memopolis, even though I'm a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, I'll root the Dodgers for my dad. Ken Griffey Jr., the Mariners, Blazers, Oregon Ducks, whatever it is. But I can't hate on greatness. If you're great, I can't hate on it. And that's one thing that's different, for me than compared to other YouTubers, podcasters, people on TV, especially with the Saints fans, which is one of the biggest fan bases on the channel. I'm a Bucks fan. I'm a Bucks fanatic since 95. You're never going to hear someone that's a Bucks fan in the division, the rival, talk the way that I talk about the Saints organization and their players. And that's why I get a lot of respect from the Saints, fan base, just because I'm not a Saints YouTuber, but sometimes I feel that the Saints fan base maybe feels like I am because, I like to be able to give credit where credit's due. So speaking of ones, Hurts changes his number to Uno. I saw that. I like that too. He seems like he's a better fit at the number 1. And it sounds like they're trying to make, running backs or like wide receivers or other positions that they're trying to change linebacker to single digits or whatever I saw on there as well. So we'll see if they end up. I don't think there should be a limit on any jersey number. Anyone that wants to wear a jersey on any number scale, even if it's single digits, who cares? It's kind of like the college game. Let them wear it. If a running back wants to have a single digit, fuck it. If a tight end or wide receiver wants to wear a single digit, fuck it. You know what I mean? Let them. It doesn't have to be all like quarterbacks and whatnot, with the single digits. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on what it happens. But Feel Good Friday. Let's talk NFL, MLB, anything else. If you're trying to lose some weight, pay some goddamn taxes like your boy did today. Still haven't paid them, got them done, but not looking forward to paying like $600 on top of the $100 I just paid to do the fucking taxes, and not really having a whole lot of money under my belt and stuff. And but like I said, you gotta pay the taxes. You can't get away from that. Death and taxes, they say, right? So, but not a whole lot of news, going on. Just a few little tidbits here and there. Breaking news about the All-Star game moving out of Atlanta. I wonder where it's going to go. Taking a look to see if there's any other action. And like I said, I've been online now for, about 3 hours. So I'll probably stay online here for another like 12 minutes, 11 minutes to make it an even 3 hours. And then take a break, and then maybe I'll hop on, later today. I know my girlfriend's friend's brother has a birthday today, so I might be going there to make a quick visit. But I wanted to put in some time and grind with y'all. So if anything you guys want to talk about here, for the next 10 minutes or so, if there's anything that you guys want to touch on, you guys want to touch on the MLB, the NFL, draft position, what you think Kyle Pitts would be, on the Bengals or on the Falcons. If you want to talk about how the NBA sucks, I agree. I'm not really big into college basketball. I think it sucks too. I think the Peacock Network app fucking sucks. Not to be negative, but those are the 3 things that suck right now in life: NBA, college basketball, and the Peacock app for WWE. But WrestleMania is right around the corner. Easter is this weekend, so happy early Easter for anyone that celebrates that. How the fuck did the Dodgers lose last night? I'll tell you. Memopolis, I watched the game. You watched the game. Clayton Kershaw, and obviously Dave Roberts, not pulling him when he could have, and you could just tell the momentum was, either Kershaw's lights out or he starts getting fucking rocked. And he wasn't good in spring training based off, the games that I watched or read about or highlights that I saw. My dad, I put him on the live stream yesterday. I called him on speaker, so that might be something that I do all season long, when the Dodgers are on, because he watches all 162 games of the Dodgers. So if I can get to a point where the Dodgers are on ESPN or Fox Sports. I'll call him, and you'll hear him on the mic, and you'll hear my dad's little personality. We'll talk a little Dodgers back and forth for a couple minutes while we're watching the game. But you got to have the main guys step up. Cody Bellinger got robbed of that home run. Nothing new. Not a lot of the guys stepped up. Mid relievers and closers fucking blew, and they sucked. They can score runs with the best of them, but it's going to be tough to repeat. On paper, they are supposedly going to get the most wins. Well over 100. 100 to 120, somewhere in there. But it all depends on pitching and the chemistry, and Kiki Hernandez is no longer there. He's on the Red Sox. Obviously, we know Jock Peterson is on the Cubs, so it's going to be a learning curve. But like I said, I'm looking forward to doing a lot of Dodger baseball. WrestleMania is next weekend. I'm going to eat some great food for Easter. I'm excited. It's usually ham and turkey and everything else, but I'm on a diet, so I'm kind of worried about that. So I'm going to do that. Then WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday. My boy Swaggy P went to Miami, like I mentioned. He went to go see the Blazers at the Heat. And he got on the Blazers Instagram, got on TV, which was cool. Then he went to a Red Wings NHL game in Miami. Then he went to the game last night for the Miami Marlins, his favorite baseball team, against the Tampa Bay Rays. So he literally hit 3 items in the bucket list on the road in Miami, and he's a DJ too. So he likes to do DJ scene stuff out there and to go to concerts and different, not necessarily like rave type things, but he likes the DJ scene out there. So he was out there with his girlfriend, and he's going to be coming back probably in a day or two, and then we're going to do WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday watch party. So as long as I can get the Peacock Network bullshit going, we'll watch WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday. I would encourage you to be in the room with me, and we'll do a watch party. Hopefully we get some good subs, maybe some new likes, maybe some donos, and we can watch WrestleMania. Then going to the beach the following weekend to rejuvenate for my girlfriend's birthday. And then we have the NFL draft at the end of the month. And I'll do probably day 1 and day 2, round 1 and rounds 2 and 3. So very, very busy April. My birthday is in May 2nd, at the very beginning of May, also right after the draft. So I'll be excited for that. And then, well, obviously here starting probably in a couple days, I'll go to the temp agency and try to find another job. Try to find either part-time work or full-time, depending on my YouTube schedule, and try to get some more funds to pay off these fucking taxes. And that way I can have a little spending money. I don't need a whole lot to survive, but I'm focused. I'm happy. I'm in a good mindset. My mental health is excellent. The sun is out here in Oregon. It's beautiful weather. It's in the 60s, but sunny. It feels like 70. Walking, I'm exercising, jogging, eating right. So things feel really, really good. But like I said, I appreciate every single one of y'all in the building. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's see here. I was watching Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania last night. Hell of a match. I might have to go back and watch that. Those are always good when you can watch some old school Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle. I have a Kurt Angle wrestling figure from WWF wrestling figures still in the box. I ended up finding it at a card shop years ago, still in the package, and it comes with some of his belts. I think it's from like 99 or something like that. It's old school. And I also have a 99 or 2000, something like that. 2001. It's old, though. It's over 20 years old. And I also have an old Rock. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson figure still in the package. It's from like the SmackDown wrestling figures way back in the day when SmackDown was popular. So anytime anyone I hear talking about Kurt Angle, it reminds me of that figure I have in the living room sitting in the package of that old school Kurt Angle. And then also with a lot of the figures that I have and memorabilia, I'll probably end up doing kind of a reveal, a box reveal of my collection, because my collection's probably worth over 10 grand. Of just all the wrestling figures and figures I have of Star Wars and McFarlane's and starting lineups. Just something that I can share with y'all, just with kind of my personality and what I own and what I have and what's important to me. But I have boxes on boxes on boxes, so I might be able to do something like that where I do a little box reveal of some of my toys and memorabilia, so that way you guys can kind of see, who I am as a person and what I'm about. Orion, if you were Howie, thank God you're not. He said, who would you have picked if we still had the number 6? Kyle Pitts and then Chase. Easily. Kyle Pitts number 1, just because Zach Ertz is gone. So bad it hurts Zach Ertz, right? So then you have Dallas Goedert on the left side, and then you have Kyle Pitts on the right side. Lights out, right? That gives Jalen Hurts that ultimate weapon on both sides, and it also gives you depth. So if Dallas Goedert, gets in a bar fight or gets fucking sucker punched, or if he, gets injured, boom, you still have Kyle Pitts, right? But also you're going to need a Jamar Chase kind of player, because Rager probably isn't it, but you can find plenty of other receivers later, like an Elijah Moore from Ole Miss or a Kadarius Toney if he doesn't get picked from Florida at pick 20, 21, 22 by like the Colts. So there's other guys that you could have, but definitely Kyle Pitts 1, Jamar Chase 2. That's who I would have been looking at 6. So kind of sad because that might end up have been the George Kittle of the draft, the Travis Kelce of the draft, or the Justin Jefferson of the draft, and you guys passed on it. So I don't know. And especially if those guys turn into Hall of Fame players, you guys will never hear the end of it. It's already bad enough with the DK Metcalf goof, right? And going Jalen Reagor. But if Kyle Pitts turns into a Hall of Famer, right, and then Jamar Chase is a Hall of Famer, and then you guys end up picking – if you guys pick Devontae Smith at 12 and it works out and he ends up being good or Pro Bowl or Hall of Fame, then you're good. But I like Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase a lot more than Devontae Smith. I still think Devontae Smith's going to be good, but not as good as those two. Those two definitely have the upper advantage at this point, in my opinion. So aloe vera is supposed to be good for you. Aloe vera and boosts testosterone, clean intestines. Apple cider vinegar, tablespoon, half cup of water before bed. Yeah, I need any type of tips, that you guys have. Besides going to the nasty natty gym, right, that Troll Patrol wants to, he goes to. Let's not talk about that, all right? A message from an eagle in the nasty natty gym, right, with no masks, right? But everything else, let me know. Let me know what's going on, because anything that you can tell me what you guys do, what you guys eat, what you guys drink, how you guys work out, how you guys, keep your bodies in semi-good shape, and how you guys stay mentally healthy, what you guys do to keep you guys happy. I'm always up for suggestions, and this is my happy place besides the beach and the coast, to make me happy, but I appreciate you guys very, very much. Crazy Gronk is not as athletic as Pitts, not as fast, but Pitts can maybe catch better than Gronk. Well, Gronk has got hands. When it goes down in history, if you look at all the tight ends in history, obviously Tony Gonzalez, it's hard to, knock him and how great he was in his career with the Falcons and the Chiefs. And you got guys like Shannon Sharp. You go over all the great tight ends over the years. Gronk is Hall of Fame. He's money. Look at him. He scored twice in the fucking Super Bowl. And as the season went along, he got better and better. Brady and him are just a match made in heaven. And I'm really happy that I got both of them. But Pitts, I'm not sure who he really reminds me of. He's got kind of like George Kittle's speed, because he's got the fastest speed out of any tight end. Waller at times looks great. Mark Andrews. But he's almost like a hybrid. Kyle Pitts, I'm not sure who he really reminds me of. If he reminds me of anybody. He's almost like in a world of his own. You know what I mean? He's got the Travis Kelce, George Kittle kind of vibe to me, where he can be as good as those two guys. I think he can be better than Darren Waller and Mark Andrews year one. So that's saying a lot, that he could end up being a top 3 tight end year one, depending on where he goes and whose quarterback is, especially if it's someone like Matt Ryan throwing to him, or Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow is healthy and throwing to him. I could see Kyle Pitts with his stats being better than any other offensive player at tight end or wide receiver this year. I could see him getting over 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards easy. He could be a guy that could give you 900 to 1,500 yards year one and somewhere between like 8 and 15 touchdowns. Will he get 15 touchdowns year one? Probably not, right? That's pretty unlikely. But, maybe getting 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns wouldn't be that crazy to think, especially if we have an extra game added on. So maybe 1,000 to 1,500 yards and maybe 10 to 15 touchdowns isn't that out of the question, because Pitts has got that talent to be able to get 1 or 2 in a game. Like, let's say he scores twice in a game, like 3 times. That's 6 touchdowns. That's in just 3 games, so he might get skunked in a couple others, but he's the best offensive prospect that I've seen, even higher than Justin Jefferson or anybody else last year. He's definitely one of the highest, draft position players at tight end. Even, TJ Hawkinson got drafted high, but this ain't no fucking TJ Hawkinson from the Lions. This is Kyle Pitts. This is something different. This is something that's like game-breaking, kind of like Tyreek the Freak Hill and what he brought with the game-breaking ability. Some people think that, he's top 3. A lot of people think he's top 5, but just having that game-breaking, game-changing ability that Tyreek the Freak Hill has, and he's molded himself from a special teams player to a top 10 receiver to most people thinking he's top 5. I think we can see Kyle Pitts easily be a top 10 tight end his first year, even if it's average or above average season for him. But I think him being in the same group of breadth of name of Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller from the Raiders, and Kyle Pitts, because I think Zach Ertz is kind of scaling back because he's getting older now, right? So it's time for someone new to step up and come into that position. That's what I'm kind of thinking. So we're 3 hours in. I would love to be able to stay online and be like that guy on Twitch that did a 2-week stream nonstop and just keep it moving. How you doing? Keep it moving. But I'm going to give my voice a little bit of a break. I'm going to drink this protein shake drink from the juicer. Probably go for a walk, get a jogging, get some exercise in. Wanted to come on, and you might see me hop on later today if something breaks. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend, a great Friday, a great Easter. And like I said, I'll try to hop online sometime on Saturday and Sunday if you don't see me later today. And then on Monday, probably hop on, and then I'm going to be going to the temp agency on Monday or Tuesday and looking for some work and still doing the YouTube thing full time. Might do a baseball game here and there. So everybody be safe. Don't go to the Nasty Natty Gym with Troll Patrol. Message from an Eagle. Make sure you're wearing a mask, washing your hands. Keep on the sports. You know, there'll be breaking news happening sooner than later. And I love you guys. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I'll be back very soon. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, the best fans on planet Earth. You guys, the Fanatic family. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Thank you for hanging out with your boy this morning and this early afternoon. Have a great day. Have a great Saturday. And have a great Easter. And I'll be back soon. Peace. Love you guys.